Last we left off, the Wildcards rested after a whirlwind of action and movement, yet there was still much to be done. After getting all the cards out on the table, you decided to split up, and with the last few hours of the day, accomplish some tasks before a midnight rendezvous with the anarchists. Hondo, Alana, and Gord made their way to the bathhouse and found an exclusive party of affluent figures from Sigil. Utilizing some illusory cover and charismatic performance, they worked themselves inside under the guise of a powerful power crystal businessman. Inside, Hondo began spreading the rumors that the general and his outfit were bad for business, that the lady sought to move against him, that there was unrest in the coin, and to save their businesses, they should steer clear of them. All of this seemed to stem from an affair he's been having with a gnome named Perry, the root of all the coin's issues. The scandalous news traveled well amongst this crowd before the group departed on a secondary mission to unsettle the coin rank and file. Seeking the few they could find in seedy underbelly bars, the crew began to sow unrest in the general's ability to fund this operation. That this love affair had drained him dry of coin, and these mercenaries should look out for themselves, lest they work for nothing. Again, the sentiment seemed to go over well, if a little confusing. Meanwhile, across town, Mary and Boone had set off with the intent to spark rebellion and warning in the common folk, hoping to spur people to action or to take cover at the first sign of what was to come. On their journey, they came to find an unsettling scene. Mercy killers on patrol, shutting down the cage distribution, saying their days were numbered, and seemingly putting a chokehold on free thought and free speech. Upon aiding the distributor, you were led to the main office in the clerk's ward and met Edinus Cerulean, the editor-in-chief of the Daily, and managed to convince him to see your side of things. The Civil War was coming, and that it was time to stand for freedom and for Sigil. Ultimately, he was convinced to print your story with a big, bold message saying to those who could to fight for their city when the time was right. Reconvening once more, you completed 3 final tasks and conversations. Firstly, Gord scried upon Calic Barrelbane and saw in the vision the dwarven smith seemingly completing a final step in the construction of whatever weapon the general was constructing. Illuminated by a lavender glow, he saw the general himself there and could see the eyes of a figure craving a fight. Secondly, through luck and persistence, you managed to flag down Mordenkainen, who met you in your room for a few minutes. Apparently still being pursued by the Hall of Concordance hunters, he had been on the move nonstop since you had last met, but he agreed to come to your aid and bring his pursuers along for the ride, for better or worse, when the time was right. Finally, your anarchist representative Horace arrived alone, as the increased Mercy Killer presence around you had unsettled Phantom, and thus Horace was sent to deliver his message instead. The 3 best targets for your operation: the Lower Ward Stash House, an alchemist working with the coin, and Victor's Crown, a popular brothel, also a tavern and gambling den that many of the coin pay patronage to nightly. It was agreed that the anarchists would hit the alchemist and the crown simultaneously as the sun set 2 nights from now, but you would strike tomorrow at the stash house yourselves, with Horace in tow. As this evening came to a close, another day drifted behind you, another day in this strange place, another day gone in time to prepare the coming war to your home as we begin tonight. The evening passes successfully, safely, and you all finish a long rest if you haven't already gone ahead and done so.
Yeah.
And the morning comes to you bright, early, with many, many things for you to accomplish.
It is morning. Is Hondo shadowboxing? Hondo?
You know it.
Good to know. So I assume maybe we have breakfast brought up to the room so Val can be sitting on a couch eating it while we talk about what we want to do with this day.
I was thinking, do we want to find a gnome that we can use to play Barry?
What do you mean use?
Well, he will basically play the role we want him to play.
Can you explain what Perry is? Because I've only heard vague references, and I'm going to be honest, it sounds interesting. It also sounds like you might have just fucked over any gnomes that live in this city who potentially have a name that starts with P.
Well, we all know Perry the gnome.
No, we do not. We do not know Perry the gnome.
He's the apparent lover of the general. But the problem is he's manipulating the general to do his own bidding because the general's apparently smitten with him. Now, if we could find our own Perry,
Okay.
we could use this to our advantage with the people.
Can you just hold up on that one part? How could we use some sort of hired actor named Perry to our advantage with the people?
Not to mention, he's probably going to be killed. There's a huge risk for that. Don't know if anyone would want to sign up for that.
What we do is we get Perry to convince the people that it is not him manipulating the general.
Mm-hmm.
It is the general doing his own, and Perry has actually been trying to rein him in.
So it's like the general tricked Perry into tricking everyone, that Perry was the one seducing the general, when in reality, the general seduced Perry into seducing everyone to think that as an elaborate cover.
And of course, remember, the real reality is there is no Perry.
There is no Perry? This is all a fib?
Of course, yes. I thought that was a given here.
No, I thought it was so convincing. I
Hondo,
actually think
you could always disguise yourself as Perry.
as Perry.
Do your transformation, go as Perry, and then go into hiding, and then no one will find you because you're not Perry.
Yeah, like Hondo just disappears from the party and lives a new life as Perry.
It could work, yes. I could definitely play Perry. Let's see where we go with. We have the story out there. People are now talking about Perry, about the general. We've got them under our control.
Valentine will set down his mug and be like, why don't we keep that as like the backup plan after the stash house robbery tonight? Well, maybe if that doesn't go so well, we could investigate Perry.
Well, the word's out, so just remember, Perry.
I honestly can't believe that's a lie. I was so convinced. You guys want to do any reconnaissance on this thing today? Or you want to just how are we going to get to this stash house? Isn't it in the Hive?
The stash house was in the lower ward. You guys currently don't necessarily know where Horace was going to lead you there tonight.
It's going to be a shit show. The stash house.
And we were going to decide whether we were going to go in invisible or come out invisible, right?
Well, that was...
that's later.
That's later. Okay.
Yes. Although you can still do that here. That's up to you guys.
This is just a little stash house. I think that plan was for the vault,
the
where
big
the
job.
spooky,
That's right.
scary
Okay.
thing is. Let's not even get into that shit yet.
With Mary currently indisposed, Mary did want to make a point of saying that she wanted to do some recon of the garrison house itself.
Yeah. Yeah, sure.
That's a goal she wanted to do today, just to get eyes on and get an idea of what it is you're going for when you do go for this bigger job. But she would likely agree that getting eyes on this stash house during the day before the act would also be appreciated, and it would be a good idea. And they would both be in the same this vicinity.
And we could also try and get contact with the Smiths.
Yeah, the Smiths, as just a reminder, are basically a rebel group, kind of in similar fashion to what you're trying to spur up. That are, to your knowledge, they're positioned in an abandoned church near the garrison house in some capacity. Again, no eyes on, and you're just kind of hearing this secondhand, I believe, from your friends at the Foundry. But yeah, they were, if you're going to do recon, they would be kind of tangentially related and right there, and easily, at least from what you've understood, what you've heard, at least a good source of information, if not true allies.
So we should definitely do that today. Now I got to think, how do we sneak in the Hive? We did it once before. where we kind of just wore some disguises. That is where Valentine died, and then we had to fly out on a dragon, a gourd dragon. So,
And a point. I just want to add one point. So, in terms of the layout of the ring of sigil, you guys are in the market ward. If you were to go, north and swing around, you would go market ward, ladies ward, lower ward, then the hive. So they're two different wards. The hive itself is where the garrison house is. The lower ward is where this stash house apparently is. And then from hive back around to clerk's ward, Guildhall ward, and then back to market. So essentially market to hive is almost like directly across the circle of sigil. And lower would be closest if you were to go north, we'll call it, and do the ring around. And essentially from your foot travel you've done, it's roughly what's the travel pace I've written here? You can basically do a full ward in about 2 hours.
Yeah, that feels right. So how long would it take us to get there? Like 6 hours?
So it would be from market to the hive. If you're going ladies ward, lower ward, hive, roughly 4 to 6 hours, essentially, just because you're not sure exactly where it is you're going. From market to lower is about 3 to 4 hours. Again, just because you're not sure exactly where it is you're going. But at least from the lower ward to the hive, there's at least an hour in between where you would be traveling from this stash house and the garrison house in between. It's not like they're not, well, I mean, in theory, they could be right up against one another, but there's at least a couple of kilometers of lower ward and hive ward that you have to kind of figure out and explore.
At least it's near each other. Why don't we do that? We could start heading towards the lower to check out the stash house, and then after we kind of get some recon on that, then we could start going towards the garrison house.
So as we return from a minor break, you guys have some scouting on the books here, planning to check in with, try and see either if you want to try and just wander the lower ward and see if you can find this stash house. There is a stash house in the lower ward, but it's an entire ward to search through, so you can certainly try.
Do we want to create a diversion while we were doing this reconnaissance?
Mm-hmm.
I think the whole point of doing reconnaissance is doing it so that no one knows anything fucking weird is happening around there.
See, my point is, if we do a diversion, we see how they react in a time of trouble, because there very well could be a time of trouble.
This could be one of Hondo's weird good ideas.
Yes, but keep in mind as well, if we cause trouble, then they know that there's trouble in the area. So it depends on what kind of trouble you're talking about.
I will say this. This is interesting. Okay, wait, 2 things. Sorry to cut you off, Mary. I had to figure out which character will be saying this. Maybe Valentine will. You guys mentioned that the Mercy Killers have been acting really weird, right? That's something to keep an eye on as you're walking out through today. And I think Hondo was bragging how you guys actually murdered some Mercy Killers and took their armor. Hondo, if you wanted to do that thing where you pretend you're a cop and you put on a uniform and then raid a drug den and steal all their money, that's a potential option.
It's not a bad option for the evening, actually. It's a good cover.
Yeah.
It's a reason to bring about shit from other than us. But that would be something I'd imagine that would happen in this evening when we've already had the plan to do all this.
Speaking of just getting our stuff together, Boone, did you ever get those potions? And then Boone will step forward after his conversation with Doc from the day before and be like, yeah, Doc came through for us. We got 4 regular healing potions, 3 greater, and 1 potion of poison resistance. Y'all want to divvy that up now? He just puts them on the table.
What was it? 3 regular?
4 regular, 3 greater, and then a poison resistance.
Let me see what I have. Allie, do you still have yours?
I don't really need them personally. I
think so. Let me
Heal.
double check.
I got nothing. I must have used mine.
feel like you two should take a lot of them because Gord has his staff, Hondo and Boone can heal.
I have one regular.
Are the staffs fully charged now, Gord, or do you have to roll for that again? Because you can almost get to full now, I think.
Depending on how low your numbers are, Brock, it could just be full up after a long rest. If you want to just toss out how many charges you have.
One was down.
Apparently, I have 4.
12.
Say again.
12.
Oh, for your main staff, that'll be full after this rest.
So you could just set that to full now.
Yeah, you can get that one to full. And then what is your staff of greater healing at?
That full.
Great.
I did have one. I found it. So I have 1 potion of healing. You said we have 4 more plus a greater.
3
Plus
greater.
3 greater.
4 regular, 3 greater, and poison resistance?
And then a poison resistance. Hondo, you think you have 4 potions? I feel like that
I
can't
have-
be right.
2 greater and 2 regular.
Wow.
Jesus.
Let me double check. Yeah. 2 and 2.
Okay.
Okay, well, Boone, you may as well take 1 just in case.
I feel like. All right. I'll take 1. Boone will take 1 regular.
Yeah. I'll take 1 regular. Allie, you want to take another regular? So we each have 2.
Sure.
There's 1 regular left.
Hondo.
Gord.
I say
Gordon.
Gord
Yeah.
can take it.
If Gord, sorry. I don't know why I'm jumping in, but Hondo has 4 potions.
Yeah, that's a good point.
He's need more. Gord should have at least 1.
Okay, all the regulars went out. Boone, Gord, Mary, Brawley.
Yeah. And then
I feel like you two should get the graders.
so we usually end up dumping them down someone's throat.
That's right.
Is it greater potion of healing or potion of greater healing?
If you use your potion of healing, there should be the options
It should,
all
like-
under there.
Oh yeah, okay, it's in brackets. Great. And then so if we each take 1 of those, there's still 1 left.
Mhm.
Gord could take that one as well. I mean, it wouldn't hurt.
Gord can like teleport around, so he's
Exactly, yeah.
like a good bet to heal. So Gord, you're gonna grab a greater 2.
And then the poison resistance, I mean, we don't know when that's going to come in handy. Do we remember the general doing any poison damage?
His was like force damage or something.
The general didn't deal with too much, elemental based things. He had some force based damage, but at least the Crimson Coin mercenaries that you faced have had poison laced bullets in their pistols.
Right. Hondo, you've been poisoned
I was
like
thinking that.
15,000 times in the last 2 arcs of this campaign, so maybe you should hang on to that.
I want to add, there is a distinction between being poisoned and taking poison damage.
Oh yeah, no, I totally agree, but his con save is also not excellent. So if there's ever a con save for poison damage or extra damage,
Hopefully you're beside Boone.
Yeah, that's true.
But so a potion of poison resistance would give you resistance to the damage, but won't change the poisoned condition if that
Right.
comes into play.
yeah.
Okay.
Just thinking thematically it works.
Mhm.
And Hondo likes
Okay.
to make himself a target, so
1 potion of resistance to
okay,
Hondo.
so that's all of them, right?
Yep.
Great.
Poison.
So I mean, in terms of the day, what time is it? I missed all of this.
Just morning.
It's
We
still
just
morning.
started.
You guys
First thing in
haven't
the morning. Okay.
done a damn thing.
We have this evening. We're going to be potentially taking out a stash house. There's a couple ways to go about it. That's something we can discuss later. Whether it's Allie, you have one of them. So do I. And then Brock got the other. We can talk about that later, but in terms of the rest of the day, we have a lot of shit that we need to start getting accomplished. We need to get eyes on a couple of things. If we can get eyes on the stash house, great. We vaguely have an idea of where it is. We're going to be getting back there tonight, though. I would love to get eyes on where all this shit is going to be going down in the next few days, whether that's the garrison house, also trying to get in touch with the smiths, that's what they're called.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe even trying to see where this weapon is, this man who's been held captive to forge fucking something. We don't know what. These are all things
we were
that
thinking,
we can potentially get eyes on.
We were looking at the map while you were cleaning your swords, and it looked like we could go to the lower ward to check out the stash house, try and find that. That would take about 3 to 4 hours. From there, work our way towards the Hive, which would take a couple more hours, but it's all in the same direction from the market. Yes. Does that sound right, Kyle? You got all that right? So why don't we stack up right now? Let's gear up. We had a big breakfast. Why don't we start heading towards the lower ward and try and find this garrison house? And by that, I mean the stash house.
Okay. As you guys gear up, make your way out, is there any preparations you want to make before you leave the comfort of second chances?
Valentine will just like squeeze Brawley's hand and be like, have a great day. I'll see you when you get back. And he'll inspire you. It's personal inspiration back.
Oh.
And then he'll be pretty much exhausted and fall asleep.
Get some rest.
Boone will be just stretching out front, taking a look around. I don't think like anything else really to like prep on my side.
Okay. Anybody else?
I have an empty spell gem. I don't know if there's anything worth putting in it. I know Valentine can't really do any of that right now. Right?
If I'm not mistaken, the spell gems need to be attuned to put a spell in. So it's a longer process than a quick cast.
So we should have done this last night. Okay.
We could just do it before the big fight, though. That's a good idea.
Yeah, we'll think about it for later.
Mm-hmm.
Spell gem before.
If you guys hadn't had such a busy night last night, I would have hand waved it. But because it was a pretty active night, that's a whole like hour change process. So like something to consider for today.
We'll try and get it going. We'll do both. The level 2 one and the level 4 one before our big fight. Because I can't even remember if we used both, but we'll just make sure they both have spells in them.
Any ideas for methods of doing Recon? I mean, if I plan ahead, I cannot look like myself. I just have to drop something else important, but I don't know if that's worth it if anyone else is going to look like themselves.
I mean, you could, we have the bag of holding, we could just take the armor and then we could try and find a house and stack up if we needed to do something with it. But for now, we could just be reconnaissance eyes on.
All right. Well, we can just try to at least, I don't know, avoid main streets. It's a busy fucking city.
Yeah, you want to go out back
everywhere
instead of out front?
Yeah, I think that's given at this point, but...
Let's do it.
So sorry, we're going to the lower ward first?
Yep. It's like on the way.
In theory, you're basically going to go from market through the ladies' ward, into the lower ward, through the lower ward, and then into the hive from there. It's going to be several hours of walking. So to Boone, Val, and Scott's point, is there any way you want to augment your travel, or are you guys going to go on foot and try and just be as kind of, like you say, take to back alleys and try and be stealthy?
I think that's the call. I mean, like, we know that there's not a lot of land animals here. Taking something like Keith is just going to draw more attention. No one else really even has horses, let alone, a giant goat.
There's a robot dog, but yeah, there's nothing really else.
Okay. Then, if there's no other preparations, you guys begin to set off out of second chances with a hearty kind of wave from Vidane. As it is a busy morning in there, he has no time to quickly come to your side. As you can see the interior is quite busy, and immediately beyond, all of you can notice one. The market ward is packed and busy and active with people coming and going. You can see people selling wares, and there doesn't seem to be any shift in the tone of the city. People are still actively just selling their wares and perhaps not unconcerned with what is coming to the city, but just living their lives and potentially unaware of what could happen in the coming days. But nonetheless, you also notice that presence of mercy killers. None of them immediately make any direct bear towards you, but you do notice a number of them in the market ward where days previous they hadn't been. As you make your way out the back, however, and kind of avoiding eyes and avoiding the main thoroughfares, you begin making your way through the kind of back alleys. And I want to clarify, you're traveling stealthily or just in the back alleys and kind of using that with a normal pace?
Maybe just normal pace to try and not take too long here. What do you guys think?
Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah. It won't hamper your travel pace to move at a normal pace. You will just be avoiding the main thoroughfare, but you're not taking any particular care to keep to the shadows or to keep quiet. You're just moving in a what you would assume is a less viewed path. Totally a viable solution. As you begin moving through you're kind of on the upper end of the market ward as it is, towards the ladies' ward and into the bulk of the day. The ladies' ward, you pass through, and that shift between market to ladies' ward is noted by the change in the buildings that surround, and these kind of classic timbered Tudor kind of places shift to proper brick, large homesteads and manor houses and places with large kind of gated yards and manors. Even in these kind of back alleys, so to speak, as the market transitions to the ladies, there's less of those back alleys, and you're just kind of moving through residential area. The advantage here is that people are noticing you, but they're just people. You don't seem to see any guard presence, mercy killer presence, anyone with eyes in the shadows. At least you haven't seen any thus far. As the day continues and a couple of hours pass of this travel, you begin to get a scent of heavy smoke and smog and the kind of smell of almost a brimstone scent that kind of marks that crossing to the lower ward. And as you make the official pass over the bridges and again kind of into the darker back alleys into the lower ward from the ladies, again you cross over, as I said, this kind of like bridge gap to separate this kind of upper crust of the ladies' ward into what is essentially an industrial district of working class and almost like infernal base location and home and businesses. The smell of the smoke in the foundries is ever present, and it does kind of choke up on you to travel in only a matter of hours into this just heavy scented area. And the people here certainly hoods up, infernal in many ways. You see tieflings, you see full-on devils just traveling and passing, and you see many people now kind of, as you're making your way specifically to travel in these kind of back alleys, there are several people who are potentially homeless or down on their luck, perhaps strung out in ways in these back alleys alongside you as you make your way. You do catch several watching eyes as you pass. None seem to follow, and you all take great care to watch. Nobody follows, but everybody watches. Is there anything you want to do as you're traveling through this lower ward? And now that you are in this lower ward, we can say within the first 15, 20 minutes of it, is there anything you want to try to do to locate this stash house?
Boone will try and look for one of these tieflings you're describing, like a down on his luck tiefling. And he'll kind of just like make his way over to them very non-threateningly.
Yeah, you can see as you get close what you think to be a tiefling, this kind of, you can see the horns kind of poking out as you get closer. Doesn't share the tiefling heritage, but is certainly infernal in some capacity. You just can't quite place it. Nonetheless, they have this kind of almost like pale green tint to their skin. The horns are black and just kind of a tattered brown, black kind of patchwork cloak. And they just kind of look up with like yellowy eyes.
In Infernal, I'll say, "How are you doing, brother?"
Kind of looks up. What do you want?
Noticed your cloak could use some work. Was wondering if you would fancy mine in exchange for helping out.
Kind of looks you up and down. Looks at the party you're with. Make a persuasion check.
First roll, come on, baby, come on. Yeah, it's not 14.
Kind of looks, as I said, he kind of looks at the party and says, "Traveling with some interesting folk in this area. They look like they come for money."
Are you interested in a little coin? I'll be honest with you, they run me dry.
You toss enough coin my way, perhaps I could be persuaded. What do you need?
Know anything about the coin around these parts?
Sure. Everyone sees a coin around here.
Was hoping to find out where those assholes hang out. I don't know. We heard that they had spots around the city that they might like to hang.
I got a couple spots. I could, for the right price, I could point you to one.
All right. Let me go get some coins from my friends. I don't got any. Won't say it.
Kind of gives you a little sniff and a nod. He sits back and kind of slinking into the shadows. And you can see he starts kind of messing with some stuff. And you see he's like rolling like a cigarette with some loose tobacco.
I'll walk back to the group. Hey, so I still don't have any money from when I gave that woman and her almost orphan children some coin. This guy said he would help us if he could show him a little cha-ching. Which one of y'all keeps the money? I assume it's not Mr. Blue.
My money's okay.
You got any like spare gold on you or anything like that? Like pocket change?
Here.
I
I think I got something. I have the bag of holding.
Oh, there you go.
I'll just give him that.
Yeah.
Well, not the whole thing, but here.
How much money do you give?
10? What do we want?
Yeah, whatever. Let's try.
Yeah? Okay, 10 gold.
Okay. Boone, you walk back with 10 gold in the hand?
Yeah, and I'll hand out 5.
Okay.
My name's
Before,
Boone.
Before you say
don't tell
that,
me anything.
I want to know, are you handing 5 but keeping the other 5 hidden, or handing 5 with 5 still in hand?
How do I want to play this? I think I will hand 5 and try not to show him the rest, but I'm about to say something effective. There's more where this came from.
Okay. If you're not making a point to like kind of slide a hand, keep it hidden, then you don't have to do anything. But you do notice as he takes the 5, his eyes trail to the other hand where you've got the other coin before you kind of pull it back a little bit as you say what you want to say.
What's your name, friend? My name's Boone.
Oryx.
Oryx? It's nice to meet you. We'd really like your help and we'd be willing to pay for it. Is that something you might be interested in?
I know something. A little bit of coin would help.
All right, well, there's more where this came from. You mind sharing one of these spots you know about?
He takes the coin quickly, kind of stuffs it down into a pocket, I should say. He says, not far from here is a place they like to go. They like to hang out at night. You always find a big group of them. It's called a hornet's nest.
These people love bugs, eh?
They love the bugs that love back, if you know what I mean.
What's it like it's like a whorehouse?
Well, I thought the name would kind of give it away, but yeah.
Did you say horny nest or hornet's nest?
Hornet's nest, but it's spelled hornet's nest.
Oh, whores, not the hornet's nest. Yeah, that is clever. That's good.
They, you'll see them, several of them. They go in, they get shit-faced, and they get whatever else they get there. Any coin, offered drink for free.
Mm.
The rest costs, but if you're looking for them, it's not far from here. He kind of gestures and points in the direction of like kind of continuing towards the hive. He says, it's a couple of blocks down that way. It's a little deeper in off the main stretch, but it's hard to miss. You'll hear it before you see it.
I'll give him the rest of the coin.
He like snatches and like into a different pocket.
This is all I got, but this is mighty useful information. We appreciate it.
You got more coin? Maybe I can help anything else.
You usually hang around here?
It's typically my spot.
All right, well, we might come back after checking out this whore's nest.
Well, I might move a little bit, but I'll be in the area anyways.
All right. Oryx?
Oryx.
Appreciate it, Oryx.
No worries. You be careful. Kind of sits back into the shadow.
Boone will just like wave at the rest of the party. He gave us an idea. He said, be careful. Follow me. He pointed something out. Mr. Blue, I think you'll like it. I'm a little worried about your reaction to it.
As you begin to kind of follow the directions of Oryx, continuing for maybe another 5-10 minutes down this kind of continuing this back alley kind of stretch, and these kind of tall looming buildings that just like dark gnarled, everything seems to be like kind of like growing and then folding in and looking down upon you. The sliver of like clear sunlight grows thinner and thinner, and that smell of smog and brimstone is just all pervasive. You begin to hear the sounds of music and laughter. It grows quite loud at about the 10-minute mark and kind of pulls to this kind of to your left a little ways. And you can see a couple of alleys lead that way. And loosely you can hear the kind of clinking of bottles and the sound of music.
So this is called the Hornet's Nest, but it's spelled like whore, if you notice. Put the coin hang out here. I don't know if this would be a stash house or a place where they just get shittered?
Could be both.
Hondo, yeah, maybe it could be both. Mr. Blue, did you want to try and do some like covert recon?
I could, because usually men like this, they don't want to. They'll put their stuff where they get shit faced. They don't want the extra work of having to then go somewhere else to get their stuff.
That could be true. Well, how do you want to play this? Do you want to go in alone? Do you want us to go in groups? What? You're the expert at finding yourself in trouble in a whorehouse.
Well, I think groups is definitely better. It's like, we've been out drinking and now we're ready for our whorehouse.
It is, I think, still 10 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah, so, do you think Coin have a time limit when they drink? Come on.
I just meant for us, like we've been out drinking. I guess the drinks never stop.
Yeah, of course. You drink until you pass out. We haven't passed out. We're still good to drink.
All right. The problem is they do know that a blue skinned guy, a dwarf, a woman with resplendent armor, and then a cat wizard have been messing with their stuff. So you just might not have to look like you or else we'll get in trouble.
I could disguise myself as Perry.
Well, you can't do that. Perry's a wanted man around these parts.
Yeah, I guess. Okay, I could disguise myself as a regular Coin,
Who was that old guy who like flashed people a lot from yesterday? Maybe you could be him.
I could, yeah. But they need to take me seriously too, right?
You're right. We wouldn't want to be a joke. You know what? You take the lead here. Maybe just don't be yourself. Come up with a brand new character no one's ever seen before. Sneak in, and then see if they're hiding stuff as the stash house.
Wait, so just to be clear, do you want me to talk to them about this? Or do you want me to snoop?
See, I think you should go in undercover. I don't want you to be like, hey, is this the place where the Coins stashed all their stuff? Because then I think that's very sus.
Okay, let me go in as a Coin soldier.
Okay, yeah, I like this. Okay, what's your backstory though?
I'm going to say I was sent here from the Eastern Lands.
The Eastern Lands of the Cage?
Because there's a special delivery coming in and extra protection is needed.
I like this. You want to make sure everything's on the up and up for when you store it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what's your name?
My name will be Rapscallion Arthur.
Rapscallion Arthur, what's your mom's name?
My mother's name will be Sheena.
Rapscallion Arthur, mom's name's Sheena, and then lastly, what is your favorite hobby to do when no one's around?
My favorite hobby is knitting.
Okay, Rapscallion Arthur, his mom's name's Sheena. He loves knitting. He's on an important mission from the general and the Coin to make sure this place is on the up and up because something special's coming. I think you're all set. This can't go wrong.
Let's do it.
All right, well, change your face and we'll just be here in this alley waiting urgently to hear from you. And if you need anything, I've seen your friends use the urine before.
I can always pretend I'll scratch my ear and be like, yeah.
Yeah, that's good. You got an itchy ear. That's another part of your character.
Okay, Hondo, you make your way forward, disguising yourself as a Crimson Coin mercenary.
Mm-hmm.
What do you physically look like? I know the armor obviously is mercenary, but
I have an eye patch and a scar on my forehead, and I have a beard, and I have yeah.
Human? What race? Yeah, what are you?
Yeah, I'd say human.
Okay. Hondo pulls away from the group looking like this scarred, semi-pirated human, and making his way down the alley. And as you approach, you watch as the alley kind of part, and it's just kind of almost like a mud dirt parking lot, and it is in fact mud, though you notice there is no sign of there's been no weather here, so this mud has been made by likely bodily functions. As you watch, there's a guy just taking a piss in a corner, just like all over the buildings, and it's just kind of trailing into the dirt. As you approach, you watch as one Crimson Coin kind of stumbles out and falls onto his hands and knees in the mud and just unloads and just kind of lifts himself up. And you notice the Crimson Coin, like mercenary garb, and he just kind of wipes the back of his glove across his mouth and just sprays mud all over the place. And he just kind of stumbles forward, bumps into you, kind of shoulder checks you, and keeps going. But you make your way inside. The door swings inward, and it is a immediate kind of descent down into this weirdly juxtaposed brothel club. It's a little bit of everything. Along all of the walls and wrapping around and kind of dropping down from the ceiling, you watch vines and like greenery is all entirely wrapped around, and kind of you see like kind of red flowers, and this large red flower in the middle of the room, almost like a chandelier, kind of comes down and splays out. And from it, you can see just these little puffs of red spores and kind of like almost like a smoke, that you catch this scent of this like just intoxicating scent immediately as you walk in. It smells perfumey, it smells floral, it smells nice, but instantly you just get this kind of like bubbly light sensation as you make your way down the steps and in as you look up and see all this greenery and nice floral kind of decor. You look down into just pits of sunken circular seating, and there are exotic dancers at work. There are people splayed out drinking. There are servers kind of walking around with large trays of drinks. And despite the hour, it is about 3/4 full in here, with, you wager, maybe 40, 50 patrons and people working. And it is just kind of intoxicating and very much up your speed. What do you do?
First, is it busy? Like, is there tons of people, or is it not that? Like, it's not like
40 or 50. You wager. Okay. It's relatively busy despite the hour. It's not the raving club, and the people you can quickly notice. Actually, make a either perception or insight check, your choice.
I'll make a perception check.
Okay.
Boom, 19.
Okay.
Great job.
Just like slowly descending the steps and scanning with the practiced eye, you can see, it's you wager 40, 50 people in here. At least 35 of those are heavily intoxicated and just can't even move, so done. But you notice that any of the people who are dancing or serving all look very similar. There are all these kinds of, not copies, but incredibly similar. Mostly female, though you notice a couple of male forms as well. These kind of faintly green-skinned, beautiful figures. Just something you notice. But yeah, there are a lot of people here, and you can catch easily at a glance at least 10, or probably more than that, but right near you, wearing Crimson Coin colors.
I'm going to signal to a waitress, I guess, and you said there are about 10 crimson around here? In my immediate area?
In the immediate vicinity, you can see two different kind of like sunken circular seating of this kind of plush seating, that you can see at least 10 of the Crimson Coin kind of guys. You quickly flag one of these servers who comes up, and she has this faintly actually, you've seen a creature like this before. This dryad or nymph-like creature made of plant material, semi bark and vine, no clothes. Just makes her way up as you kind of enter. She kind of just trails her fingers across like your shoulders as you flag over her, and she kind of just waits expectantly.
Ma'am, are you available for a backroom session?
Just nods.
Well, lead the way. And I'll also be having a drink for these fine gentlemen here. And I point to the 10. I'll be back, gentlemen.
The couple of them who are conscious, some of them are kind of drifting. A couple who are just kind of cheers and kind of, yeah, as they kind of slosh their drink everywhere. And the woman just kind of trails you along by your hand into, like, through the entirety of the place into the back. And she kind of just like looks to one of the other almost identical dryad figures, and without saying a word, just kind of you watch she progresses in the other direction with like a slight nod, and then she leads you into a room and closes a curtain, and it's just the two of you.
Oh, so I'll sit down and I'll be like, why don't you join me for a drink? Maybe we can open up that flower of yours. I didn't mean aside, that's not my thing.
She makes no note of it, but she just kind of tilts her head a little bit, exits for a moment, and then returns maybe a minute or two later with two tall like glasses. She hands you one and has one herself, and just sits across from you, and she sips the drink.
So I'm not from around here.
She kind of gives a little nod and like a knowing look.
I gotta say there are quite a few strange characters here. You see, I've been sent here to deliver a very important package.
She kind of looks down at your crotch for a second with a little awry look.
Yeah. That package comes free of charge.
She gives kind of a coy look for a second.
But no, I've been sent here to deliver a package. But I've got to admit, this doesn't look like the right place.
She sips her drink, just kind of looks out and stands and just kind of starts getting closer to you and just kind of begins a dance for you as you continue.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I've got two packages. I've got one, I don't even know what the hell it is. It's like some creature, some rare creature from another dimension. And the other package, it's like some magical stuff that like apparently can like do crazy shit to cities. I don't know if it's like some war weapon or something, but I don't know. This seems like high level stuff, and this seems like do you keep stuff here that of importance?
She turns the glass, now kind of just set off to the side, and just kind of gives you like a little shake of the head. Continues the dance.
So this is not a warehouse at all or anything?
She kind of stops for a second, like hands on her hips, and just like does a gesture to her body. And a shake of the head.
I'll be like, listen, miss, I've seen many bodies, and yours is definitely up there.
She does a little.
But I don't partake right away. I like to get to know my partners. I like to feel them. I like to jive with them.
Make an insight check.
Okay. 17.
Jesus. Hot rolls for Hana tonight. That was 17.
And my insight is +5.
You watch as she's kind of like starting to grow impatient with whatever it is you're doing, and there's a very brief moment that you catch being very perceptive and insightful, where she looks over the kind of curtain, which is just below her eye level. And she looks over and returns back to you. And it was a similar kind of connection as the one from earlier.
I'll say, hey, I know this is a business, and I know you're expecting a return. I'll tell you, I deliver returns down there, but I also deliver returns here. And I'll slap. First, I don't know. Can you give me an idea of the price of like what the price is, so I don't like?
I cannot.
Okay, then I'll just slap like 50 gold.
Okay. The expression doesn't necessarily kind of glow up or anything at all at the money, but she looks down at it and kind of grabs some of it, and just you watch as it just kind of like slips into her like vine and plant like form. It just kind of begins to slip into the hand. No pockets, no anything, just within the body now. And you feel the chair that you're sitting in, you can feel it begin to kind of shift to like contort to your body. And there's this kind of faint, like, it's not oppressive, but there's this faint kind of like holding. This chair is kind of like, you feel it kind of beginning moving around your legs and kind of around your shoulders. And it's like kind of a mild massage, but there's a little like holding you in place to it. She continues to dance and begins to kind of get closer to you and like gently kind of stroke your cheek and things. Seem to, at least with the presentation of coin, has calmed some of the weirdness you were putting out.
I'll continue. I'll be like, so tell me, how long have you been doing this?
She just kind of rolls her eyes and just kind of like with a little smile, just continues.
I'll tell you, you don't look like you've been doing it long, but...
It's a little like offense.
But that ain't necessarily a bad thing, ma'am, where I come from.
Continues.
But you're kind of quiet, and isn't this a business of the jabber?
She kind of looks down at you, and again just kind of gestures to her body, and then kind of to her mouth, and just kind of does a little shake.
Oh, I know that body can say 1,000 words, but if I can't hear anything, kind of defeats the purpose, if you get my drift.
Shrugs and begins to kind of like shift the curtain, and is standing up and is just kind of, it seems like she's kind of alluding to, your time is up.
Well, this ain't finished here. This was just a warm-up. I'll be back, and I'll head back to the spot.
Okay, like towards the front.
Yep.
You watch the girl kind of trail off and leave in a different direction, and kind of begins to kind of climb a set of stairs off to the left as you make your way through the bar again. And as you approach maybe 10-15 feet from the first couple of tables, the guys who had cheers before, they cheers again with new full tankards of ale.
I'll say, boys, there's more where that came from. We just getting started.
They gesture for you to come and join and say, oh, we've had ourselves a night.
I bet you have. Well, my name is Rapscallion Arthur. You can call me Rapsa for short. And
That's a peculiar name.
well, I'm not from around here.
Where are you from? You wearing our colors, ain't you?
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, I've been hired, but I'm not from around here.
All right. Where are you from?
Well, where I come from, let's just say it's hot and it's far. You can't take a beast where I come from, ride your way there.
So we're riding. What?
But I tell you, I take it you're locals here.
Yeah, and there's kind of a general murmur amongst the like four who are actually conscious.
Is it so? How would you describe this town? Is it a fun town, a boring one, a scary one? What would you say?
Oh, it's now that you're in with the right crowd, it can be pretty fun when the right nights, but it's a pretty good spot.
I mean, where I come from, when we want to have some fun, we make people disappear, we steal stuff. Is that the kind of stuff you like to do here?
How new are you to our operation
here? Sorry, say that again.
How new are you to our operation here?
Oh well, I've never done an assignment like this before. I've been instructed to bring some rare stuff to hide here. And I've got to say, I don't know if this is the right spot. I've got this rare beast thing that I've never seen before. I don't even know what it's called. And I've got this magic potion stuff that I don't know. It could apparently it could take a entire city down or something. But I've been told I need to bring it to a secure spot. And I don't know, is this a secure spot?
Make a deception check at advantage.
Okay. Okay, so deception you said, right?
Mm-hmm.
So 6 and with advantage?
With advantage, yeah.
Thank
They
God.
are very intoxicated.
6 first roll, 7 second roll.
Oh God.
But let me.
Is this a take 10 one?
I'm checking that. Deception, yes, it is a expertise. and it's plus 16.
26?
The four guys who are conscious, you can see there's a couple others who are they've now passed out. They're just down for the count. Two of the guys who you're talking with, they start kind of splitting off into their own half drunken conversation. One gets up and goes and starts pissing in a corner. And before one of the dryads come and grab him and pull him away. But the guy who's kind of engaged you, so I'm you're kind of new to be dealing with city killing potions. Well, yeah, fuck, we do some crazy shit. Last night we hit this little shipment that was coming in. You dealt with the Arcurite yet?
No, I don't even. Who are the Arcurite?
It's like a metal. It's it's an unrefined metal, I guess. It's like ore. It's like rocks, but it's got metal in it. I guess the general wants that for something. We hit that big last night. We didn't take that too. Somewhere to keep safe. I guess you could take whatever you got. Sounds like whatever you got should go to the garrison house.
The garrison house, did you say?
Yeah. You should know the garrison house.
Okay.
It's like our main base. That's what we call it, I guess. Maybe you don't know that. He's new, right?
How far do I have to go? Is it here?
It's another ward over. It's where the barracks, where you slept.
Well, this is my first night here, so I will be going there, I guess.
Hey, we should really talk about an orientation. Something. Here, why don't you come with us. We gotta get out of here. We're on duty tonight.
Oh, well.
We should probably get some shut-eye, and we can get you whatever beast you got. We can get that back to the barracks.
Oh, yeah. You know, are you going to hit it? Where did you hit last night? Are we going to do something like that again?
Well, last night was some foundry guys had a shipment coming in. It was pretty good, you know.
I imagine.
He kind of looks you up and down and says, "You ain't got one of these." And he kind of pulls his pistol out. And he says, "You ain't got one of these yet. Have you shot one of these before?"
What the hell is that?
I know. It's
My God.
It's this crazy device weapon. It hits hard. Oh, man. These poor guys, they were bleeding like crazy. It's some pretty sweet tech we get to work with the general. He like holds for a second, and he like starts to puke before the other guy kind of pushes him out, and he pukes into like the alley or into like the pathway. He pulls himself back up, wipes his mouth. We should probably go.
I mean, you might want to take 5. What if my treat, we send one of these fine ladies to freshen you up? You, your friends, anyone who's got a shift coming up, let's get you fresh up and ready.
I mean, I could go. The other guy's kind of
not good. You're gonna do, man. And I signal to the ladies. Help these guys out. Help these guys out.
You watch 2 of them kind of swoop over, and they pick both these guys up, stand them to their feet, and they kind of like swagger and tipsy sway, make their way with the 2 dryads, while one kind of hangs back with like an expectant hand.
Oh yeah. Do you have like a written bill or something? Like, how much am I talking?
She just kind of coyly turns her head.
All right, you tell me if this is enough. I'll give her 40 gold.
With the 40 gold in the hand, she kind of like this now, both hands, because 40 gold's a lot of money. She accepts and just kind of nods. And you watch it just kind of slowly like drift into the skin. Like just like seeping away.
Also, can I point out that in the previous 50 gold, she didn't take it all, so I took it back, whatever was left.
She did. It just went like into the table.
Oh, okay. Is that healthy?
She just kind of like shrugs and walks away. But she does give replacement like another drink. What do you do in the interim?
So they're gone. So while they've gone, like doing, I pay for that. I'm wondering, should I leave? Should I go with them?
You could always buzz your friends.
Yeah, actually, that's a good point. So I'll go to somewhere private, and I'll just be like, okay, guys, I have 2 options. Either I join them on their patrol, or I leave now and give you the info.
Where's the patrol? Where's the next stop?
Did you find the stash house?
Yeah. They're going to
they're returning to
their barracks.
Exactly.
Oh, we were looking for like the stash house in the lower ward. That was like what we wanted to do, though.
I mean, if they want to take you to the other place we're trying to find, that's not a terrible idea.
So
our part 2 was trying to figure out where the fuck the garrison house was.
Yeah. Do you feel like your cover's going well? Like they can't, you're so in character, they would never see through it.
So what I would say is, I'll go with them. You can track me, so you know where I go, because you already know where I am right now, and we'll see where it goes with that. Beware, they do have these machine things that can fire stuff apparently. So that could be tough if we do try to battle them.
You mean guns? Like the guns we've seen them use?
That's right, guns.
Okay. I think you have one too. You stole one.
You might be right. I've seen so many weapons.
I mean, Gambino has a gun. He shot your hat.
I mean, I can't tell a hat from a glove these days.
This new character has really gotten into your brain. It's taking it down
is
several
very
notches.
interesting.
Yeah.
Anyway,
all right. So you go with them.
Keep an eye on me.
Yeah. Do you want to meet back here?
No. Well, what I'll do is I'll break when they at some point I'll break from the shift and I'll leave, and we'll meet somewhere close to there because we don't know, something could happen to me on the way.
Yeah. All right. Do you want me to palm you a send-in message in case you need to instantly get in touch with us?
Sure.
Wait, I mean, the earrings.
But they only work 500 feet, don't they? Isn't he about to go several hours into the Hive?
And we're staying here?
No, you're not staying. You're supposed to follow.
Yeah, we're following from a distance, I thought.
I thought we were supposed to find the stash house inside the lower ward.
Okay, there's a couple things that we need to do, but one of those things is scouting out the garrison house.
All right, I guess
at this point, you can hear the guys are coming
shows.
back from the other side of the room.
Gotta go.
You're still in a corner. You're still a couple hundred, maybe not 100 feet, but you're a ways off, and these guys are still kind of tipsily kind of making their way back up the front as you can wrap this conversation.
Right, so just follow and I'll be ready.
All right.
As these guys start rousing all the other guys who are passed out, and you watch about a dozen of the crew kind of wake up, and the one who you've been talking to goes, "All right, boys, that was a hell of a night. We gotta get some proper shut eye. You got your thing, but we gotta get back and sleep, and then we're on watch tonight. So let's. We got a new guy," and they kind of gesture to you. So this is Rap. He's with us. He's new. And he kind of gestures to the guy before. He's like, "We got to talk about doing an orientation or something." Wait, did you say you have a beast? Where? Where is it?
I had to store it 20 minutes from here because I had no idea where I was going. So I found a little shed. I put it in there. It's safe there for now. It's probably asleep. We can get there at the end of the shift.
All right. And they just start, let's go. And they just start piling up out of the bar. And you guys outside watch a dozen of these very intoxicated Crimson Coin members begin kind of stumbling out into the mud. Some of them puke. All of them are just kind of light, and just begin kind of stumbling their way out into the alleys. Are you guys doing anything?
Just keeping an eye on them. Maybe start just trying to follow them a bit.
Okay. It's going surprisingly well, and I don't want to fuck it up. Yeah, I mean, you can tell us what's reasonable. I don't know how small the alleys and how short the blocks are here. If there's a way to trail, I don't know how far of a distance we'd have to keep so we can actually still see. None of us have a familiar or anything like that can help scout ahead. I mean, of who's left of the three of us, I'm probably the stealthiest, so in theory I could stick up ahead so I can always keep an eye on them, and then you guys can just follow me.
Yeah,
if
let's
we want to do it that way, almost
That's
daisy
smart.
chain it.
Yep.
Okay.
I should probably get my dice in case I have to roll something. Hold, please.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, you guys watch as this group just begins kind of trailing their way out. They do not stick to these back alleys. You watch them make their way to the main thoroughfare and just openly begin walking. And they're kind of carousing, kind of pushing one another, and kind of some of them are talking to you, Hondo, but like they like begin conversations and then just like don't finish them and trail off and just kind of forget what they were saying and just kind of come in and out. And they are going to make their way to the to the garrison house. So from here, pardon me, from here to the garrison house is going to be, where's my map?
How many spell slots do you have, Hondo? Because this is going to take.
Yeah, because this is, at this point, you've only been, let's say, a half hour, all said and done. But disguise self only lasts for an hour.
And sorry, you said how long it's been so far?
It's been about a half hour, so you're
okay.
Halfway through. But from here to the Hive is at least another hour. Ooh. So it's going to be, you're going to need to spend another slot at the very least to keep this going. Now, given the conditions where these guys are so intoxicated, you can instantly kind of recast. Like there's going to be a flash where you're Hondo again, and then you just instantly come back into this form. If these guys weren't so drunk, there would be a check to like do it quickly or stealthily. You're pretty confident no one's here going to notice, and if they do, they're just going to think they just drunkenly saw a different guy for a second and continue on. There's no suspicion. So with no real worry, you cover your transition. There's no stealth here. So Mary, do you want to try and keep pace and trail? Give me just a stealth check.
Okay, that's 16 plus 12. So what is that, 28?
Yeah. There's no even attempt that these guys are paying any mind to you.
I'm worried about the other people. Well, I'm less worried about them.
The rest of your party is able to follow you because you're not trying to hide so deftly from your own party. But how far back do you want to hang from these guys?
Like a block.
Okay.
Like the end of the block, so in case they turn a corner, I'll get there just in time. I will also say, I do have just an old, ratty cloak. I'll just have that on top of whatever I'm wearing instead of my typical, blue shit.
Okay.
Just a gray cloak. It's not going to help much, I'm sure, but at least from the back, it won't look quite as shiny.
No, that's totally fair.
Oh, wait, didn't we get fancy cloaks that everyone got in the flavor of Skittles, except for me, who got, a boring black one?
I think so, yeah.
Mordenkainen, it's oh yeah, who wants cloaks so we can blend in? And everyone's like, I want a pink one.
I don't remember that,
bright
but
blue one. I
it.
want lime green one.
I probably did that.
Anyways,
it sounds like us.
You guys make your way collectively, Hondo and this group, from lower ward to a Hive ward barricade. Just shortly after this transition, Hondo, where you've just kind of re-upped your spell. So you guys have been going for at least another half hour. And as you approach this barricade where you had to kind of smooth your way through, nobody bats an eye at the group of coin mercenaries making their way through. And there's a little bit of carousing and talking between the guys who are working at the, holding the line here, and the guys who are passing through. And some are just calling out to their buddies, and they're just kind of bragging about what they did at the Hornet's Nest and the hit they did last night. And there's just kind of open, they're just openly just shooting the shit about the crimes they've committed, and how fucked up they are, how much they need to sleep. One guy asked another guy to cover his shift, and he just tells him to go fuck himself, and like just like casual shit talk. However, the rest of you aren't going to pass through so easily. Mary, you're the first. How do you want to approach this barricade, essentially?
This is very similar to what we went through before, right?
Yeah, it's more or less the same. You guys just came from the other angle, so it's literally just a barricade. It's very simply made barricades to hold the line, so that anybody traveling with carts or anything like that couldn't make their way through. Foot travel you can pass through. However, there are 4 mercenaries of Crimson Coin color. 2 of them are kind of hanging back. 2 of them kind of stand right on the other side, on either side of this kind of spiked barricade that would stop foot travel. In the kind of wake of the crew that just passed through here, there's a little disorganization. So I would give, if you wanted to try and do anything, I'd probably give you advantage if you were trying to like sneak somehow, just because there was so much messing around just now. It's basically between the main thoroughfare. It fully blocks off the street, but there are homes and businesses, and there are alleys on either side. There are ways to circumnavigate it, but you're not sure what is kind of hiding in the alley. This main thoroughfare, though, is blocked here. What do you do?
So sorry, it's not like a wall, it's just
makeshift barricades.
Gotcha. So in theory, if I wanted to, when they were all being chummy and chatting, would I be able to like tuck a corner and scale a building?
Absolutely.
On like a side of this barricade, so I could potentially just circumnavigate it completely?
Yeah, you could basically scale the side and go up and over.
I do have my little Batman grapple gun thing still that I never use anymore, if that would be helpful.
Yeah, that would get you up there without the need for a check. Okay. Yeah, basically the distraction of a dozen drunken assholes making their way through here, nobody hears the fire of your crossbow as you scale up to the top of the buildings. You're able to continue tracking Hondo and the group here. However, the 3 of you trailing Mary, what are you guys going to do? As I would say, like, basically you're doing, Mary's a block back, you're a block back from Mary, maybe a little closer just to make sure you can see Mary. But you watch as this crowd disperses through the barrier and Mary is out of sight.
I will make sure that I go on the earring and just like keep everyone, as soon as I'm up on top, kind of whisper where I am, the barricade, and I'll try to like peek over to the other side to see if there's like a large group on the other side, just to make sure if they get through by some means, they're not going to run into another huge group.
It doesn't look like there's a whole lot of other foot travel in general, Mary, from your elevated position. There's nobody coming from the opposite side, and you see a couple people kind of passing you guys collectively in this main alley, or this main road, but it's not super busy here for whatever reason.
How far across is that like checkpoint?
It fully covers the street from corner to from building to building, fully covering the street. There is on the left and right like a double barrier, like a full wooden wall that has like almost like the back of like a riser of seating and steps on both sides, so that they have position on top. But in the middle is basically just a pair of kind of spiked barricades that you can see can be dragged left and right should they allow something bigger to travel through. But it fully covers the street right now, and there's basically a 5-foot space on either side of the bigger risers, 5-foot empty space that you can see can be walked through, and then these 2 big spiked barricades in the middle, 5-foot space, big barricade again. So you guys can walk through. You know, the last time you've done it required a toll.
I'll just try and walk through, but I got a backup plan. I'll just tell them that. Yeah, I'm going to try and walk through. I don't know what you guys are going to do, but let's see how this goes.
Okay. Boone, as you kind of take point, as Allie and Gord, you'll have a chance to, if you want to obscure yourselves or do something, you'll have that chance to come back. But Boone, you make your way right up to the edge, as these guys are still like talking to one another, kind of laughing, talking about how fucked up Wes is. They're just kind of chuckling. The one turns in your direction and looks you up and down. And there's a moment where his hand is kind of out. Just, you look familiar. I've seen you before.
Just got one of those faces, I guess.
Looks down at your arm. And, this new golden arm of yours stands out a little bit. And you can't see the full arm, but at the very least, some forearm and hand. And this guy kind of looks at that. It's pretty fancy.
Thanks.
Where'd you get it?
Foundry.
You work with them?
Nah.
What are you doing here?
I need work.
Here? Kind of gestures with his head to the Hive.
That's right.
Well, there ain't much work unless you got one of these. And he kind of taps his kind of crimson coin, like armor and pseudo badge.
That's what I'm looking for.
Really? You're looking to join up?
Yeah.
All right. Well, you see, there's a little bit of a bonus incentive for us if we bring someone in and say, we made a friend who wants to join.
Oh.
Could use the extra cash.
Sure. What's your name?
He just kind of like looks you up and down. Make just a straight deception check.
Natural 20. It was 2
Well, it was going
and
on
then
for so
dropped
long.
to 20. I was like,
He just kind of looks you up and down and says, I could have swore I've seen you before. Who gives a fuck? Look, you come with me. I get a little bit of coin. You get what you want. Everybody's happy.
sounds good.
All right, follow me. He kind of gestures and says, I'll send someone back in my place in it'll be about an hour. And they say, it's going to cost you a couple silver. And they say, oop, it's yours. And the two of them just kind of nod, and the one guy on the other side just kind of kicks the dirt a little, just kind of dejected that you happen to go to him instead of the other guy. And this guy just kind of says, all right, come on. And he kind of walks in with you. Allie and Gord, what are you guys trying to do here?
Okay.
Oh boy.
Okay, so would they recognize Gord?
Who knows?
I was thinking, because I can't grow myself with my tattoo, can I disguise myself as a child tabaxi?
Sure.
Yes.
And be like, Daddy.
I love it.
This is adorable. I love
think
it.
Gord can be, he can, if he wants to disguise himself as like a different color or
You
whatever.
can be your papa.
But I'll be like, he'll be my daddy.
Okay, Gord, as
Be
you
your
guys
zaddy.
are just
We're about
watching
simple.
the progression ahead and trying to all come up with what you do, you just watch Alana's tattoo just shift and her hand reach up to take yours, and a tiny tabaxi child stands
Aw.
beside you.
So cute.
It's a kitten.
A kitten.
Little kitten.
Really
a
fluffy.
little too fluffy.
And I have like the little wiry tail because I'm still young.
Oh.
Gord, do you remain looking like Gord, the white, or do you shift to look like something else?
Can you shift now, or did you?
You
lose
don't.
that?
You don't have mask of many faces. I'm not sure if you have anything else at your disposal or want to try anything. Otherwise,
No, I can't, so I'll just stay as Gord.
okie dokie.
God the white.
But as you you take on this role of father, And the two of you begin making your way following Boone's lead. With one guard now kind of departing, you slip to the other side where the other guard kind of gestures you forward, kind of looks at you, looks down at Alana. What do you want in the Hive? Looks at you, Gord.
We're just looking for passage through. Me and my daughter are lost here. We got turned around.
Mama, where's Mama?
Looks down, just not giving a fuck. It says, well, that's too bad. It's an expensive toll. It's gonna, for the two of you, be 10 gold.
No problem. Here you go.
You hand over 10 gold. He just kind of like takes it back, like a little taken aback, a little surprised. Just looks down at Alana.
We don't want any trouble.
That's very wise of you. Get your kid, get the fuck out of here. And he kind of moves off to the side and just lets you through.
As we're walking away, I'm holding my daddy's hand. I look at him, I just kind of go, ooh, like what those cats do.
The guy just kind of like, ugh. Kind of looks away.
I'll be like, come on, Ray. Ray Skywalker.
The guy tucks the coin into his side and you just make your way through, having paid the toll, and away you go. Boone now with another guard.
And a new friend.
And Mary, you can see that the party has all progressed through here. And still in between, Hondo's still being led with this group. But now you see Boone has an escort as well. And this guy who's with you, Boone, is kind of just talking about all the fun you'll get up to as a Crimson Coin mercenary.
Cool.
It's just like, it looks like you can handle yourself in a fight, yeah?
Yeah, a little.
Good, you're gonna need that. That's gonna come up pretty often, in fact.
Okay.
Are you from the city?
Yeah, just kind of down on my luck.
That's all right. Coin will, make you coin. It's
good.
A lucrative position. Lots of benefits. Got a couple places around here we can go and we can get drinks, and get women, or whatever you're into. We get paid. People are afraid of us.
You know what I noticed?
Hmm.
I feel like the Mercy Killers have been acting all like hoity-toity lately. Usually they,
Not with
speaking
us.
of being afraid of stuff. Oh, not good.
Yeah, nothing to worry about with them. We got a deal of sorts.
Cool.
They don't fuck with us, we don't fuck with them.
Great.
You'll learn. There's a lot of political stuff going on in the city. General's running more than the lady these days.
Hey, you hear of this is stupid. You hear of a gnome named Perry before?
I think so.
All right. That was nothing. I heard something about the general and this gnome named Perry.
Are you kill him?
Did the general kill Perry?
No?
I heard they were like in love.
Oh. Never heard of it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Hmm.
How far are we away from, like, how long have we been walking for?
At this point, it's been another 15 minutes.
Are they going in the same direction? That's my question. Okay.
Everybody seems to be following the same path. So the big group is now well ahead. Mary, you're up on the roofs, and it's easy to actually keep pace.
I was going to say, is it like the connected houses, like how we see in movies?
Row houses,
row houses, like in London, where I can just
Yes.
Old-timey rooftop hop. Haven't done this in a while.
Yeah, absolutely. There's no need for a check. You're very skilled at this, but you do notice there are several homes here, roofs here that are older and not well maintained, and you have to kind of do a couple of weaves and moves over areas that are about to fall in. But you are very adept. I'm not going to ask for any checks here, but you're able to keep an eye. Make just a perception check, just to see how close some of this, like if any of this does impede your ability to keep an eye on Hondo.
Really well tonight. That's a 24.
Yeah, no problem. Like back in your prime in the city, exactly what you're used to doing. 15 minutes of this conversation, you can see the group ahead, and they're 5 minutes or so, makes their way out of this kind of main clearing, and you watch the street break and it forks. And as it continues up to the right and turns to the left, and each side of the street is equally as wide, equally like kind of a main thoroughfare in its own way. But in the middle, you see, Mary, from this upper position, an open kind of court, and there's this kind of decrepit kind of market square. There's not anything left here. You could see there was this old tree that is withered and just kind of half fallen over, and like there's no foliage. It's dying. You can see the decay, and yet it just sits in the middle of this kind of square. There are old just piles of detritus of, like, you could see maybe was a market stall that has been burned and turned to charcoal. It's nothing left. And as the main group turns left from this elevated position with that 24 perception, you can see the market, this kind of square that is no longer really a market square, but it's what it would have served in better days. To the left, the streets begin to kind of converge and wrap around a large compound. You can see a large stone wall with several towers kind of separating the city from this compound. And you can see this massive wall stretches around. At this distance, it's difficult to make out, but you can see multiple buildings are within the wall. And that's where this group of Hondo and all of these mercenaries are headed. And you watch Boone and this other fellow turn left as well and begin to follow. The last thing you notice, at the far end of the market square, probably 2 blocks kind of down, but this market square is relatively large. There's some buildings in between you could see that are empty and abandoned. You can see the broken top of a bell tower of a church. You can just make out where the bell should have been. No bell. This broken kind of side. And you can just kind of make out the architecture of this church about 2 blocks down the right road where this turns left. Hondo and the group. Is there anything you wanted to try and do or say in this hour and a half journey you've been on with these guys?
Yeah, so you guys have probably seen some shit. I mean, you guys have probably seen some shit around here.
Plenty of shit. We get up to all kinds of fun.
I gotta ask you, I heard a rumor coming in here about a gnome Perry. Is that true?
I don't know anybody named Perry. There's a couple of gnomes. We got gnomes. That guy's like, the fuck's that guy's name? Shroud? He's got a weird name. He's a gnome.
Well,
not named Perry.
Oh, all right. Well, I guess that might be a good thing. I heard some fucked up shit about this bear guy.
They owe you money or something? Maybe we could ask around about him.
Oh no. He ain't owe me nothing. Perry apparently has some business with the general.
Oh, he's like a client. Oh, okay.
Oh no. They're lovers.
There's just some like kind of open laughter from the group. And like two of the guys just like, could you imagine the general fucking, and then just like they start just like laughing a little bit. The guy's like, okay, well, we'll keep an eye out for gnomes, I suppose.
Name Perry. Now, this garrison, how the hell do we get in?
There's a big fucking gate.
This thing is massive. It must take like an army just to live that thing.
I mean, there's a mechanism. I don't know how it all works, but there's you'll find out. I mean, there's a fucking army inside. We're gonna sleep. We're gonna be on watch. I don't know. I'm sure Lieutenant will get you some job. Maybe he'll be on watch with us. So I'll try and say, we picked him up. Maybe we'll keep you with us. But it's there's a lot of guys in there. I'm surprised you didn't go to the garrison house first. How the fuck did you get here?
Oh man, I had to have a drink, and I gotta empty the tap as well.
You know what? That's fair. I'm just surprised. They don't usually give you the colors before they give you, some fucking grunt work. It's, who am I to judge? I don't give a fuck. I'll be honest.
Is this where you keep did you bring the stuff from last night here? Is this where the good stuff is? Should I bring my stuff here?
Yeah. Oh shit. We probably should. Well, you know what? I'm not gonna say you're with us because I don't want to. If you got a beast stored somewhere, no. You know what? You're gonna take like 10 paces back when we get inside.
Sounds good. Don't worry.
But yeah. We came. We did the hit. Fuck these guys up. We took their shit. We brought back here. General keeps all that kind of shit in like the barracks. In the barracks, there's like the lower side. That new construction. Oh, you wouldn't know new construction. He wasn't here. What a fucking idiot. Well, there was new construction. There's a place. Keep that kind of shit. But we brought it here and then we went out to celebrate.
Yeah, man, I'd celebrate too after a haul. Sounds like you had a great haul there.
It was good. It was a lot.
You're gonna get a promotion for that?
Well, a promotion, the bonus, that kind of shit happens here. It's what you got to do. You got to take opportunities whenever you can get them. This kind of business, you look out for yourself and the company.
Of course. I mean, like, holy crap, this place is huge. There's new construction on a place already this big?
Hey, General likes to keep things changing up. There's always something he's trying to tinker with and work on. He's paranoid in some ways, but that keeps us safe and keeps us employed. Sometimes we get involved in some of the construction. This was weird. It was kind of I don't want to say low key because literally we all saw it, but it was outside crew, specialized work.
Well, man. Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, as you're having this conversation, you're approaching the gate. You're walking through this market square I described earlier. You're within 100 feet or so of the main gate. And from here, make a perception check. Oof.
I think my perception is an expertise, so it might be a 10. Let me just double check. Yep, expertise, so 10 and 14, 24.
Okay. As you're having this kind of conversation, you're half paying attention, half just like looking. Immediately ahead, you can see this gate they're talking about. And it is just an iron bar gate. It's open. You can see through it. However, the bars are maybe 6 inches too tight to push through. And you can see they are thick iron bars. It would take significant force to kind of break through. and they embed into the ground. You can see like spikes down into the ground, holding it in place. As you approach, you can see on both sides in the interior, you can see these kind of like cogs that wind into the ground, and you can see chains attached to the tops of these kind of cogs. And as the kind of crew calls out with a wave, on either side of the gate are 2 towers. In the top of the towers, you can see in each side 2 guards, mercenaries, similar crimson coin colors. At the top of each tower here on either side of the gate, you see these big, almost like a big spyglass is what it looks like. This big front piece of glass and like a brass or copper kind of tube, and it's just kind of, they're both kind of just sitting unused currently, but it looks like a massive spyglass that are both kind of sitting on top of both of these towers. The walls themselves, at a close look, are thick brick and cement and rock stone walls. You can tell just as you get close, easily 10 feet thick, and as they continue left and right, and they kind of curve in, almost making this kind of somewhat rhombus-like enclosure around this garrison house, around this compound. There are multiple other towers, and you can see guards walking along the walls, looking down over the battlements. At a quick glance, you can see there are easily, right here, just 10 in the front gate alone. Immediately through the gates, as you're seeing into the courtyard beyond, you see this rather cross between like a Tuscan villa and a military compound, a military barracks. There's like cobblestone walkways and then dirt kind of patches and these small, simple gardens of plants that are kind of arid plants. They don't need a lot of care. You can see there are dozens of mercenaries kind of moving to and from, carrying things or just walking in formation. And almost directly through the gates, you can see this large manor compound, this kind of wraparound set of marble steps that leads up to a large, more or less kind of rectangular, it looks like almost like a bank that's been turned into a home. Like think of that exterior, but there's a double doors that lead into a large manor home. You can't quite make out anything else on the interior on the approach, but as you get inside, you'll see more. This is just going to be a question across the board here, because Hondo is being led in with the group. Boone is going to be led in with one guy, but with the intent to be led inside the compound. Gord and Alana and Mary, but also Boone and Hondo. What is the plan?
Boone doesn't want to be let in, by the way. Boone is going to do something before he gets too close to that.
Good to know. At this point, then I would say you are 200 feet back from this gate, and the guy is just kind of like happily like talking about like all the perks of working with the Crimson Coin and what he's going to do with his money. He's going to make a trip to the Hornet's Nest tonight.
Hey, do you see that behind us?
What? Kind of looks back.
Do you see that, like, the 2 cat people that
Yeah.
have been walking along?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure the little one just turned into a dwarf.
Looks back. Still looks like a tabaxi currently. What do you mean, turned into a dwarf?
I don't know, like they're using some magic or something.
Shit.
Should we go check it out?
Kind of like stops, and you can see the compound. You can see the exact same kind of description I just gave, but you're at the corner. You're right at the intersection. You're at the Y split where it turns left into the compound and continues up through the main ward. Yeah, we should. General gets...
Question, Kyle.
Mhm.
Can if I saw, okay, Hondo's getting let in, I'm not going to see anymore, I would kind of try to stick more with I almost said Val Boone. even if I couldn't hear, would I be within like lip reading distance of them?
I would say, given the height of where you would have had to pause to make this decision, I'm not going to give it to you for free, but if you make a high enough perception check, yes.
Sure.
So go ahead and throw perception as you kind of pause.
No, not at all. Natural one.
Yeah. Your split focus, trying to keep track of 3 groups, just as you're keeping track of everything, but yeah, to the ability to read the lips here, unfortunately, it's just not going to fly. So you hold. So I would say you're literally at the corner building, at the same, like just directly above Boone and this guy, like the split to go towards the compound or up through the main ward. You are in the same spot. Boone is just 20 feet up. But yeah, this guy kind of looks to you, Boone, and says, oh, "Fuck, yeah, can't let anything like." Well, fucking lieutenant would have my hide if we let someone with magic just fucking waltz right in here. Who knows what they're doing?
I'll follow your lead.
Looks like a kid. We're badasses, but we're not gonna just openly kill a kid. They make a threat, though. You put her in the dirt. Understood?
Yeah, of course.
Good. He kind of unholsters, like kind of takes off the little thing on his holster to his gun, keeps his hand close to the pistol at his side, and he kind of gives you a nod and begins walking back in the direction of Gord and Alana.
I'll take the glaive off and just like nod along.
As soon as they turn around, I'd go on my earring to Alana and just say, "Pick an alley, go down it. We might be fucking someone up."
Okay. Alley, do you go left or right?
Where would the closest alley be would it be left or right?
I would say you guys are kind of, you're able to choose left or right. The only difference being left is kind of closer to the buildings Mary is on top of, and technically closer to like the Garrison House side. Right would pull you guys a little bit further away.
Okay, so I'll go on the side that Mary's on.
Okay. Tugging Gord's hand, rushing into a nearby alley. You want to say something?
No, I was just going to be like, "Daddy, I'm scared." And then like start heading.
You guys begin pulling as soon as they start kind of moving, you watch he pulls the gun and starts just rushing forward and says, "Hey, don't be running off. Hey. And he's like trying to call out after, and he just begins sprinting directly into the alley. You guys have the edge here. Mary, Allie, and Gord. Is there anything you guys are doing as you tuck into the alley?
I think we should get further enough into the shadows almost that no one else can see us, but obviously Mary can and everything. And I'll just kind of I'll do the big Puss in Boots kitty eyes where I'm like, I look really scared and I'm clinging on to Gord like this, pretending to be all whatever. And then in the earring, I'll kind of whisper and be like, "Whenever you're ready, Mary."
Okay, Gord, is there anything you're preparing or doing?
Nope, just observing.
Okay, Gord just holds with Allie, kind of just like somewhat hiding and kind of like tucked into him. Mary?
How tall are these roofs?
Yes, do it, Batman, do it.
These are about 20 feet tall. They're almost like 2-3 story, apartment style. There is in the alley, there are several kind of boxes and crates and detritus around on the sides to break a fall should something go awry.
Cool. That shit's not what's breaking my fall.
I know,
right?
But if you miss,
I can also quickly catch you if you accidentally fall.
I'll see.
That's fair.
So, Gord and Allie, I'd say you guys pull back into the alley here, about 15-20 feet, and you can see it ends, but it splits left and right, and so you stop before it splits, because it would split right back out into the kind of main thoroughfare area. So you kind of hold in this like T-junction in these darkened alleys. Thankfully, doesn't appear to be anybody else here. And the buildings around just give you the feeling of like being abandoned. Like the windows are kind of broken in, and there's dust everywhere. There's no sign of active business or residence, though very well could be. This guy at the head here rushes out, gun in stretched out front, turns the corner and sees the two of you kind of huddled together midway through this alley. And he just slows up. And he starts just like slow walking with the gun kind of just like loosely pointed in your direction. He says, "Well now, what are y'all running for? Ain't nothing to be scared of."
Nothing to be scared of.
Kind of gives you a look for a second. Gives you a nod.
Okay.
Yeah. Look. This, you might have come down the wrong road. You might have taken a wrong turn. I'm not going to hurt you. But I'm going to need to know what you're doing. My friend here says you got something magical about you. I don't trust that. And he kind of holds the gun up.
Don't trust it.
So you show your true selves now, or I'm going to start taking shots.
Well, let's see if Elena has a reaction.
No, I'm just gonna do the same like child. I'm not gonna change.
Okay.
Just gonna stay.
And if he says, "Show yourselves now," and be like, "Okay." Let's try out this new sword, motherfucker.
Ape moving behind you.
Are you going to just aim to land on top of him, or like bring the blades down?
Well,
fuck this guy.
Yeah, I will land, and if it happens to be able to be blade first, that's excellent. We'll see.
Okay, so you're gonna go for like a killing blow.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead and make an attack roll. I'm gonna give you disadvantage because you're literally dropping 20 feet.
Totally fair.
But the guys, it's not particularly hard.
I rolled pretty bad.
Actually, I should say sorry. I'm gonna just scrap your roll because it should be disadvantage for like the drop, but also advantage because you were stealthed and hidden from his sight. So canceling out to a single.
Okay, so you want me to do it again?
Yeah.
Okay. That was the same as the higher roll, so that worked out. So it's 15 on the dice, and affliction. Oh, that's a 30.
Yeah.
Oh.
As the gun is extended outwards.
I'd love to chop that arm off if possible.
Absolutely.
Jesus.
You roll damage for me.
Yep. Do I get sneak or no?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
You technically had disadvantage, but I think it canceling out. I'm gonna give it to you, and then you're both gonna take the damage of your fall.
Yeah, that's fine.
Nice. That seems fair.
It's just a straight D8 because I probably only be using one hand.
Actually rolled pretty high.
Before he dies, I'm gonna do one magic trick in front of him and just go like this.
There's just one thing.
He's gonna die. It's the last thing you'll ever see. It's horrible.
Just as you start doing it, you watch as he's just like, all right, and he starts to like raise and point in your direction, frustrated, as Mary drops out of the sky with this new blade in hand and carves clean through the arm. How much damage did he take?
It's only 25.
25 with an additional 10 to you and to him for the drop. So 35 points of damage. You carve through cleanly with almost no resistance. You just sever the arm at almost the elbow, and the hand just drops with the gun still in its hand, and the guy just collapses under your weight as you come down, basically partially on top of him, pushing him into the ground. He begins like yelling out in pain, obviously, but he's not dead. He grabs the stump of his arm. Boone, Mary, anything you guys want to do?
Yeah, Boone will attack him.
Without needing the rolls from both of you, you silence the screams of this mercenary rather swiftly. And maybe the echo of that first kind of expulsion echoes out a little bit. You all wait silently. There doesn't seem to be any response.
So I hope that's what you were going for. I just kind of made an assumption.
I hated this guy. He wanted to kill a kid.
Oh, good. Okay, I made the right call.
So,
Hondo's in the garrison house already. I lost sight of him. He had to go through the gates, but I want to make sure whatever the fuck here was okay. I don't know if we can follow.
Can I ask you guys a question?
Sure.
What do you think the % chance is that he's legitimately just joined the general side?
See, I'm not surprised you asked that because Hondo generally, he has yet to actively betray us. There's been, jokes and threats of it, but
so like 20%.
I can see him committing to it and like actually going through and being a part of it, but then last minute be like, "Hi, joke's on you, General," and then.
So that's the thing. He's a really good liar, and sometimes so good of a liar that he kind of fools us. But no, he wants that big dramatic reveal. So.
All right. Well,
we can trust him, but I don't know how comfortable I feel letting him into that hornet's nest, literally alone.
By himself.
In case something goes up, more for his safety. Actually, I mean, and safety people with him. Not so much that I give a shit because they seem like shitty people, but a lot of dead people is a red flag.
Doesn't he have like a code of stars he can like transport himself to or something?
Yeah, in theory. I don't think he knows how it works.
No, that's fair.
Regardless, we're kind of wasting time. Is there somewhere we can check? Is there like a dumpster?
No dumpster, but there's like
a dumpster.
There's plenty of places to hide a body.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, there's just like
the
rubbish.
body.
Yeah. Let's take if there's any a pin or a cloak. We're taking that.
I'll take his gun.
Yeah,
the gun.
I mean, someone roll an investigation to see what all you can pull off this.
I think it'll be me.
Oh, this is gonna be a good roll. The 19 on the dice, so that's a 33.
Yeah, you pull the pistol. The armor is in a similar fashion to the general's. It is more like a tactical body armor than a classic medieval armor. The plates are not arcurite. You can tell they are more. They're the classic like iron or steel plate, but they are. It's like a more form-fitting armor. Gives you a little bit more dexterity while still being protective. And it is basically, it's like sewn into the lining of what is more or less like the Crimson Coin uniform. So you have a Crimson Coin uniform that also serves as body armor.
Minus one arm.
It doesn't like cut off. It doesn't fully come down. I suppose there would be a bracer. So yeah, the one side is missing a bracer, but you could pull the bracer off of his severed arm. In the pouches, you find essentially like two. They're like clips essentially for the gun that at a quick glance seem to hold like another selection of like 8 shots. So you have 16 more shots to this pistol. He has a short sword in the one side. You find in another like kind of side pocket, there's this kind of small, it looks like an alchemist's fire flask, but bigger and more like a prepared Molotov.
That's what they used at the.
Yeah. So someone can just write down flaming flask if they want.
Okay.
And yeah, there is this kind of hooded cloak and this kind of like mask, like a bandana style, like a red bandana. Got nice like working boots that are well maintained, but no better than any of your boots. But and I would say this guy would probably have 25 gold on him and an assortment of silver.
Cool. Thank you. Yeah, let's ditch this fucker. We have to decide what the fuck we're doing because every minute we're here, Hondo's getting deeper into that place by himself. I'll quickly, actually, before he gets too deep, I'm gonna go on the earring just to Hondo. Say, had a bit of a detour, had to fuck someone up. You all good?
I can talk to anyone until their pants fall off.
You say this on the earring, and one of the guys kind of looks at you and says, "Fuck do you say?"
I was just thinking about the time I literally talked a girl's pants off.
Ooh, all right. Well, look, as we switch into the interior of the garrison compound, you've crossed through the gates. The gates have been lifted and your party has collectively made their way inside. As you make your way into the actual garrison compound, the garrison house compound, you see this kind of manor house directly before you, but the crew begins pulling you to the left. And on the inside, you can see as I was saying, kind of a classic military compound. You can see there are wooden stalls and areas that have been kind of separated apart. And you can see people are stacking barrels and just moving things around. You can see a flurry of activity. But the garrison compound is split in two sides. You can see on one side there's a large kind of fence that separates the left side of the garrison compound from the right side. The right side seems to be more of the manor home and this kind of like it just seems more like a home, like a Tuscan style kind of villa. But on the left, on the other side of this fence of simple metal, you can see two watchtowers stand that are kind of scaffolding watchtowers, and in either side of them you can see riflemen. You can see more of Crimson Coin, but with these longer extended barrel weapons that are kind of constantly looking about at this space. From here you can see at least 8 of those towers that encircle the outer wall and watch in and outward from inside. There are multiple entry points to enter onto the wall, enter into these towers, and several outbuildings that you're not sure their purpose. One in the middle, in between both of these sniper towers, essentially. You can see there's a pretty big congregation of guards, or of mercy killers, of Crimson Coin mercenaries. But the crew leads you up and around to the left, passing a couple of smaller outbuildings and plenty of guys. You pass a section where they're actively doing like rifle practice. They're shooting targets and training. You can hear people calling back and forth, shouting orders. And you can see that most of these people are Crimson Coin mercenaries. They're varying races, all wearing kind of this similar attire. However, Hondo, you notice a couple of other figures, more of those Yugoloths are kind of patrolling or lounging in areas and watching in certain areas. You can see large frog-like humanoids with these spines along their backs. You can see those, one of the hulking kind of weird figures that you first met in the first battle, with that one massive thick arm and tiny arm tucked beneath this small cape, kind of lumbering away. Overlooking the this left building that you're seemingly kind of curving towards with this crew of yours, you can see kind of leaned over watching this smooth-headed alien figure, this kind of teal skin, massive yellow eyes. The skin kind of alludes to the sign of a mouth and nose, but you see no open mouth or nose. Just kind of tucks down straight into neck. Wears this kind of mantle of metal armor, and it kind of drapes in these purple draped bits of cloth with a similar badge, but with a kind of a more ornate version of the Crimson Coin badge, as well as some similar armor beneath the more of those kind of plates, and a long sword at its side. Is there anything you're doing? As you can see, just before I asked that, they've crossed the main courtyard and are making their way around the left. You can see the largest congregation of mercenaries and guards in this kind of 2-story walk up, and it's kind of got this switchback stone path that leads up to. You can see multiple openings. It looks like a large mess hall. You can see all these guys inside eating at picnic tables and shit like that. There's an upper area, and it looks like what you would imagine the exterior of a barracks. People are just kind of lounging around. People are getting set up. Equipment is being handed out. Food is being handed out, and there are easily 100 guards that you can visually see in and about this space, this specific space, not including the rest of the spaces.
So the guys I'm with, as we pass that that alien looking guy, I want to be like, I'll nudge like, who the hell is that?
It's the lieutenant. You're about to meet, Lieutenant. Hope you got yourself in order.
Should I be afraid?
Oh yeah, that guy is. I mean, he doesn't have a fucking mouth, and yet, with no words, he will turn you into a puddle of jelly.
Oh, shit.
He can get in your head, you know. They say he can see through who you really are.
Well,
so good luck.
What I'm thinking is, you got some crazy characters here.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, it just shows how good you guys are, all of you, especially you. I mean, I don't know how much you can count on these wackos around here, but you guys do good work. Any chance that you think you'll get a promotion? No, do you get a better bunk if you get promoted?
You know, I mean, a little movement up the chain never hurt anybody. You know, there are better perks. You know, we all sleep in the same bunks in the barracks. They're not terrible. You know, people always say, you know, military style living is uncomfortable. It's not that bad. You got all these guys looking out for you. It's good work. But yeah, you know, you do good work, you get paid more, you get more perks, and yeah, maybe you get a little better place to stay. Something to look forward to, but you got a little work to do yet, friend.
Oh, you betcha. I'm pining for some work here. I'm ready. You need me to kill someone? I'm a good killer.
That's what I like to hear.
Some money?
We are gonna be.
Some money. You need me to seduce an enemy, you know, queen? I'm your guy.
That I want to see, number one. But yeah, I mean, we're kind of gearing up for some action in the next couple of days, so fighting spirit's gonna get tested. Now look, we're gonna crash any second now. Go talk to Lieutenant. He'll give you whatever orders he's got. He'll bring you in and whatever he needs to do. Obviously, I wouldn't keep him waiting. He looks like he's kind of looking our way. He kind of gives a little wave. And Hondo, at a distance, you can see this alien kind of figure is kind of twisting and turning. Yeah. And its eyes are kind of starting to kind of like squint and look in your direction. You're still a ways off, but it is honing in on the group of you guys.
Oh shit.
What are you doing?
I'll be like, all right, well, I'll catch you later. I guess I better report for duty.
I'd say, yeah, you don't want to keep him waiting. Look, and yeah, that's it. Good luck. And they begin kind of scaling the steps going up towards the barracks. What are you doing?
Well, I'm not going to definitely talk to him, so I'm probably good. You know what? I'm going to walk around and see if I can find a bathroom.
Go ahead and make an investigation check.
Okay. Yeah. 5.
Oh boy!
Two,
Oh
sorry.
boy!
That's a 2. However, is investigation one of their special ones or no?
Yep, it's an expertise.
Thank God.
10 and 13, 23.
Okay. At this point where you're at, you're on the other side of that kind of fence separating the kind of military side from the villa side. And you start looking around. There are a couple of outbuildings here, and you start kind of just like making your way towards them, away from the greater barracks and this lieutenant figure. And you start just kind of like trying to open certain doors, and one of them is locked. And you just move on to the next. You swing open one, and inside you can see immediately there are several barrels, and it kind of wafts in your direction the scent of black powder. You get that kind of like tingling in your nose, and you can see it's like a storage facility for some of the weapons and products that they use for their weapons. And you can see it's not particularly large. It's maybe 10 by 10. It's just stacked about, and you can see some tools, and there's a guy inside, one of the mercenaries, who kind of looks in your direction, just like gives a nod as the door opens, and he's just like tinkering with his gun. You move on to another, and you swing it open, and indeed there is essentially like an outhouse off to the one side.
Okay. I'm going to find a place that's private, and I'm going to send a message on the ring.
Okay.
I'm going to say, guys, I have a chance to blow this place wide open.
You slip into this outhouse, we'll say, because it would be a single place for you to go. Mm-hmm. And you hear collectively over your earring that message.
Oh, no.
What is
it? Maybe we don't explode it yet. Maybe that's a real good pin to put in for when we come later. I don't think we got other shit to deal with tonight. I don't think we want to cause too much of a stir this morning.
I say we do it because I gotta go. There's no way I can stick around here. I am literally
leave?
I literally have bomb fuel right here. Like, I could set this thing off right here, right now. And from what I've been hearing from them, there's no value up here. The good stuff is somewhere else.
Out of game. Is there anything else we need to make sure that we need to figure out while we're here? Like, what other kind of recon do we need to do?
That's pretty much it. We want to hit up the Church of the Smiths.
Well, they said something about construction underneath, which we don't know that yet. There's a way to get eyes on what the fuck that is. That could be interesting. That was through the barracks, right?
Seemed to be what it was alluded to, Hondo, yeah.
I'm just worried our boy Hondo has already got an alien who can see through shit on his case. He just ran to the bathroom.
It's up to you, Kev.
I do worry you could blow our cover for the future to like break in, but it'd be funny.
Is it possible for me to get back on the fucking roof so that I can try to keep an eye at least on
just frantically scaling the roof?
Yeah, I just want to be able to get in a position to see if something happens.
Yeah, I mean, you could scale the roof here.
Okay. Yeah, as soon as
to
it
do
says
it
I'm
quickly,
going up.
as soon as you hear this, make an athletics check.
Sure.
As soon as Hondo begins
Thinking
talking
if
about
I
blowing
need
something
to.
up.
It's actually not very good. It's only a 2
Oh,
on the
not.
dice.
Do I make a bad athletics or is it?
No, you're
I don't
fine.
know.
Oh,
That
It's
is an
just me.
11.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Not quickly at all.
You hear?
Nope.
20 feet to get to the roof. It's going to take you a couple of rounds here. So you're able to continue communicating, but you have no visual for the next couple of rounds, whatever that entails. Hondo, I actually need you to make a little wisdom save for me.
Oh
Okay.
no. Daddy Alien is coming for you. Wow,
19.
Great.
It's a good time
Fuck
to roll a
yes.
19.
That's good.
And wisdom save is +3.
Okay, 22. Yeah. You're on the kind of headset, or your earring. You're having this communication. You're talking about your plan here, and you just feel this sense of kind of creeping over your mind. Just this icy cold that spreads right from the kind of third eye, just like creeping back and spreading down the entirety of your brain, and it kind of just drips down your back. And you know the feeling of kind of messing with your mind and probing your thoughts, and you just steal your mind. But it does give you the idea that somebody's hunting for something. For you.
Okay. I'm gonna be like, that felt like a tickle that I don't wanna finish. And I'm gonna head out.
You leave the this outhouse, and immediately with your perception, you can see the alien-looking creature has descended the steps from the barracks and is just kind of coming around the corner in your direction. Still, at this point, 200 feet from you. There's plenty of other mercenaries out doing their business, but this guy is kind of making his way through the crowd in your direction.
Okay, this ain't good. Well, I'm gonna. First of all, would I know how to get out?
I mean, you've seen the way in.
So, because what I'm thinking is, I'm gonna try and, because there's so many other mercenaries around, I'm gonna try and blend in and start like moving camos and all through.
Okay. Go ahead and make a. We'll just make a stealth check. That's just stealth. Trying to like Assassin's Creed your way into the crowd.
Good. It's 2,
Oof, oof, oof.
but
I think you take 10 on this, right?
stealth is expertise. So 17 and 10, 27.
Yeah, exactly. You are dressed in their garb. You instantly, you're illusionary dressed in their garb. You instantly just fall into a group. And as you know, it's like the bus passing over and you're gone. This group like passes you and you're just gone from sight. And you're kind of you're just making your way in with this crowd. However,
Oh no.
a couple of seconds into this, you're confidently moving, and you're moving in the direction of the gate, but this group you're with doesn't seem to turn towards the gate. They begin kind of turning left and like are doing a lap up along the fence, and not in they're in the direction north of along parallel with the barracks, so away from the gate, not towards where you want to be exiting. However, in this moment, you hear echoing through the minds of everyone around you, because you watch their expressions change and you hear it in your mind as well. This creepy, echoing, dull voice just shock through, and people just like tense as it probes into their mind, and you hear the voice command everyone to drop to their knees. You watch as all around you, the guards just begin taking a knee immediately in place, just dropping to their knee, just like in a radial area. 100 guards begin to drop. What do you do?
Well, I will drop.
Okay. You drop in with the crowd, continuing this stealth action. A silence quickly falls as all of the kind of muttering and talking falls away. You hear the kind of shifting of some weaponry and armor, and this kind of low murmur. Like, what the fuck? What's going on? What was that? And people are kneeling, but trying to just kind of look around and crane their necks and see what's going on. You hear above this kind of like shifting of metal, and you watch as the two riflemen kind of bear up and aim over. And you watch this alien figure with a hand up and its head cocked to the side just begin not looking at anybody, but just walking through the crowds. From your passive perception, where he walks, you can see the people closest kind of twist and shift their bodies before kind of stopping as he just like slowly moves to the crowd. And you just watch as everyone within like a 10-15 foot radius of him does that for a second before taking a breath and stopping as he is slowly moving through this crowd, probing. A second passes. He gets through this one crowd over here, seems to clear it. Gets through another crowd at the base of the one watchtower. They all clear. Continues up past another crowd. Is gone up to the far north end and is kind of coming back in your direction.
Fucking get out of there.
You're, again, maybe 120 feet. What are you doing? Mary, at this point, you are on the roof, but given the positioning, you don't have line of sight over the wall.
No. Do I see like the riflemen along the wall, or is that a different spot?
You can see active guards on the wall, but you notice none of them are moving.
Right, so it looks like something spooked them, or I wouldn't be able to tell.
At this distance, I wouldn't give you an insight
Totally
check.
fair. Yep.
You're several hundred feet away. You just see that no one's moving. You're just not sure what that means.
Would I know like that Mary is over on top? Like
you're a full split from the group. You've been in communication, but no one has made a point to say they don't have line of sight. No one has made a point to say where they are. So I would say no. You are fully rocking it solo.
okay.
You can tell us you're in trouble in this moment if you want, but you can also escape too.
He would probably pick it up if I said anything.
I mean, you do have to say it out loud, so the people around you would too.
Yeah, it's not a mental communication. It is you have to actually say it.
Okay,
I
so
feel like we're in trouble.
my thought is I'm going to do this very stealthily.
Oh,
I'm going to create a fog cloud.
okay.
Okay.
But like it's not going to be like so they know it's me. It's got to be like where they come from.
Go ahead and make an
It's
Arcana
like a little
check.
fart cloud that just slowly spreads.
This will be an Arcana check because there's still verbal somatic components to it. Presumably, I should say.
9.
Plus your Arcana.
And my Arcana is 4.
Okay. 13. This alien figure is making his way, and you can see the crowd about 100 some odd feet ahead of you is doing that same wincing as he passes. His hands extended. His hand kind of reaches out in this direction, and then kind of comes back, and he's just doing this kind of tilting head back and forth thing. As you get the idea of like, okay, I need a diversion, I need to get fog cloud, go. And you're like quietly trying to do it low. You're trying to cast it down so it kind of billows up and out, as you say, to try and keep yourself obscured. You're very stealthy, but to cast arcanely is not a particularly quiet or easy thing to do quietly. And in the cast, towards the end of it, you get it off, and it's beginning to kind of billow out. The guys to your left and right kind of just like, what the fuck? Like they audibly kind of shout that out and like begin to stand up as the cloud kind of captures in them. And they begin to kind of call out, and the whole crowd around just begins like coughing instinctually, like expecting smoke, but it's just fog. You can see just before the fog kind of encases you, you can see the yellow eyes of that figure, oh God, look in your direction and begin moving. However, you act first.
So I'm going to act like the other guys around me, like, what the and I'm going to get up with them.
Okay.
And if I can wait enough time for the cloud to thicken and get out there, I'm going to see if I can jet out.
Okay, the cloud begins to expand in this 20-foot radius sphere of smoke, and the guys just begin dispersing. Like, you know, you're in a crowd of about 20 guys.
That's
my
decision.
You just begin kind of backing up with a couple of guys, filling in and using your stealth from earlier. Definitely acting the part of like, what the fuck. And kind of pulling back towards the gate. You don't see the creature yet because you just created a big obscuring spell, which was the whole point. And you begin kind of just backing up, acting alongside everybody. You know the gate is, we'll call it 300 feet that way. And this alien guy is now 150, closing in on you. You have to at least get within, 100 feet of the gate to make any kind of chance at doing whatever you want to try. Are you going to openly sprint for it, or are you going to try and do something else? I would say you've cleared a space where there are enough other guys around, but the rest of the courtyard is now still kneeling, like all is silent. You can see the snipers are now training on the smoke you just created. You've created a diversion, but also simultaneously kind of called light to this point.
Okay, so like I'm heading toward the gate.
Mm-hmm.
What is the opposite side?
So
like is there a point of interest or something there?
On the opposite side of the gate or on the opposite side of inside?
Like the opposite side of where I am. So like if I'm going toward the gate, what's on the other side of this area?
You've got the villa itself. The whole wall has a bunch of like smaller outbuildings. The two watchtowers are, I guess they're not opposite. Sorry. There's nothing directly around the gate to give you another thing.
Is there a door, a room? Is there something on the distant side of this area? Something.
There are several.
Okay. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna yell, there's a witch here, and he ran through that door. I'm gonna yell, the witch is through the door. And then I'm going to give it a second just to see if there's, in the commotion, what happens. And then I'm gonna use Whisper to teleport out by throwing it over the wall at a target.
I'm going to say you need to see the target. So that's what I was talking about. You need to get within 100 feet of the gate so that you can see through the gate. I'm going to let you throw through the gate 100%. But I would say you can't just huck it over the wall and hope for the best. You need to see the target you're throwing at.
Oh.
So you have about 200 feet to kind of close the gap before you can see your target.
So
are you just gonna just go for it? Because otherwise, you're in open territory.
okay, so I think the quickest thing for me to do would be to throw it to teleport and then pick it up and throw it again.
Okay. Just literally like at the ground, teleport to that new space at the ground.
Mhm.
Okay, I'm on board with this. You begin just openly going, drawing and throwing. As you teleport, instantly shouts all on the wall, and everyone starts like, there. What the fuck is he doing? Sorry. And shots begin to kind of ring out, and they just kick up on the ground at where you're kind of teleporting. You watch as you teleport the second time, kind of getting like 60 feet at a time. You watch kicking up through the smoke that teal-skinned alien, sword drawn, charging forward. Instantly, as it sees you teleport, and you're about to start throwing through the gate. You've hit the point where you're throwing through the gate. You watch as you're kind of just looking quickly over, just constantly checking this alien disappear and reappear directly in front of you. A familiar spell you've seen used countless times by your party. As you're throwing, make your attack roll at disadvantage, as this creature is going to try and basically bat Whisper out of the air in front of you, but you're going to try and throw past them to get through the gate.
Come on, buddy.
So
disadvantage.
So I didn't. Oh, okay. So
Whisper at disadvantage.
So first roll 7
plus something,
and with Whisper that would be a plus, I think, 14.
A lot.
21.
21.
And essentially,
roll
I'm going to be
again, see if you
rolling
get lower.
an attack roll against your attack roll.
8.
One higher. Okay.
So 21. Using the longsword is going to essentially try and bat Whisper out of the air and interrupt. Whisper will reappear back in your hand, but will kill your teleport, and we'll see what happens. Depending on this singular roll right here.
Oh God.
In a quick movement, like the blade is already out and just kind of swings. But you are a sharpshooter, you're a fast motherfucker, and you're a smooth motherfucker. And Whisper just connects about 40 feet beyond the gate into the stone, into the ground. And as the blade kind of swings out and is kind of coming back to cut across you, you are already shadow, and you are slipping through the gate. As you reappear on the other side, 2 shots are going to ring out at you from people on the walls. Does I think one of these might hit. 24 and a 14.
Yeah,
Is it
well,
24
not
hit you?
14 to 24. Yeah.
24 will hit you for that's wrong dice. That's going to be 5 points of piercing damage and 13 points of poison damage as you reappear and begin running, and one of these bullets just catches you like in the back of the leg, just on the side, just like skims the side of your calf as you begin just sprinting. With your speed, you are out of their range very quickly and just running into the street. Mary, at this point, you've hit the top and you hear these multiple shots, and you can see Hondo running. Well, you can see a Crimson Coin figure running. Well, you have to assume it's Hondo. You all begin to hear, another 6 seconds from now, this faint kind of klaxon, like winding up alarm. What are you all doing?
We gotta go.
We got other shit to do here today. Fuck.
Let's get back to
Which
the
direction is Hondo going?
At this point, Hondo is just running towards like the Y intersection, just away. So I would say Hondo's just running straight. The road will come out and hit the road where it would go up or back the way you came. Mary, you can see Hondo, 3 of you in the alley. You hear the sounds, but you don't see anything.
let's set this like. What are we in the out? Like, is this a wooden building beside us?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, multiple.
Let's set this building on fire as a distraction. Maybe like you went here, and then let's get the fuck out of here, back towards the gate.
That's just between you, Gord, and Alana.
Yeah, that's right.
So between the three of you, Mary, you're on the roof. Yeah, you guys can try and set a distraction here. How do you do that?
I'll just like yell up to Mary, like, "We gotta go!" And then I will point at the building that she's on to really empathize this point, and I'll use 2 charges from my hand. It's like the hand will like shimmer, and then like a little like amberish color will appear there, and then fire like gushes out in a jet in a 60-foot line, and I'll just like douse the side of this building in it.
Yeah, absolutely. With that, it's almost like napalm, just like spraying over and catching the side, and the alley like begins lighting up with all this like garbage and trash and like cloth. The interior, it kind of splays in through open cracks and open broken windows, and you can see interior. Everything begins to alight very quickly. Hondo, you can see that from the other side. This building suddenly just bursts into flame as you're just sprinting. It would be odd if it didn't fit with what your party would do.
Kyle, quick question. You mentioned that we could see the steeple of a church?
You did. From the rooftops, you can see, if you were to continue along the main thoroughfare, continue
the other direction?
The other direction, instead of turning left to go to the garrison house, if you continued straight, you could see about 2 blocks down, you could see the steeple of a broken church.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, okay, so I'll go on the earring, and I'll say, I'll give direction, and say, we told the Smiths are in a church nearby, maybe a good hideout spot. Way easier to make it to there than make it to the gate. And then I'm going to quickly, because I'm faster than a lot of people in this party, so I can catch back up if I need to. With the building still on fire, I'm going to run kind of down I'm using my hands and you cannot fucking see me. I'm going to keep running down the length of the building so that I'm kind of going in the opposite direction of where the church is.
Okay, so
on the roof. I just don't know how the way things are pointed.
I know. So the buildings would be perpendicular to the way of that road. So the road would continue in this direction. All the buildings would be facing that road. So you'd be leaping over the alleys to go that way.
Okay, instead, I'm just going to, on the roof where I am, but it's the same roof, if it's more towards the gate, if it's that kind of a length, just furthest away from where I have a good view. Basically, the most out of view while staying on this roof is what my thought was.
Most out of view
from the garrison house.
Okay, yeah.
I'm going
coming
to
right
go
to the kind of the edge of where it is closest to the main street.
Sure. Okay. Basically, I'm just going to go there and kind of crouch down so people can't see me.
Okay.
And I'm going to, real fucking quick, I've seen these things shoot off. They're really fucking loud. I have this pistol, this gun, and I'm just going to try to shoot a couple shots to make some noise, like someone's in this direction, like they possibly saw something.
Okay. Yeah. Trying to shoot down.
Just straight on the up. Doesn't matter. Just noise.
Yeah, absolutely. You just unload the clip, and it's got several shots, and you just keep squeezing and pulling up, paying attention to what you're shooting at, and just generally in that direction, making sound. As the rest of you are going to connect with Hondo and run for the church.
Yep.
Any attempt at trying to shroud or protect yourselves, as it is basically remember I said it's an open kind of market square that has nothing else in it. There's lots of shit in it, but there's not a lot of cover. You will essentially be running in the open in full view, several hundred feet away. But because there's not much else here, it will be very obvious. And Hondo is literally run in this direction. It will be, those of you running on the street will be seen.
I will throw down globes of darkness.
Ooh.
I can do it 3 times. So as they're running, if I like hear a shot or something like that, I'll touch the staff, and then this like inky swirling like half globe will appear and surround us. I think it's like, let me look it up. I can do it within 60 feet, so we can even like run into them, and they're 15 feet.
Or put it on the people as they like come out of the building, so that they're running into darkness and don't see when you take a corner. Could also
only
work.
if they're 60 feet away.
Yeah, it depends on if they get close or not.
Yeah,
it's a 15-foot radius.
So 30-foot circle of darkness. Yeah, I mean that would give you a shroud enough to like get from where you are to like behind cover, and then again to kind of just like almost like dark.
Hopscotching.
Exactly. That would give you, if you use all three of those, that would obscure enough to not give a clear indication of where you're going. As Hondo, you sprint out and just watch as Boone, Gord, and tiny baby Gord run out into the street, and you are all like enveloped in darkness, and then it's over, and then you're running and just letting Boone and the rest of your friends lead the way. You guys are all just running down this main street. You can hear the churning of chains, and you can still hear the shots being fired and scattering off of like cobblestone and hitting the buildings to your right as you're running. They are just kind of firing loosely in your direction, and you can hear the gates are shifting and opening. You are being pursued. No, Mary, you're focused elsewhere. Gord, you can see as you're running, you can see through magical darkness, and through the magical darkness that Boone is creating, just with your passive perception, the gate is opening slowly, but through it, you see just dimension dooring and appearing this teal-skinned alien figure, glowing yellow eyes, a long sword in hand, this mantle and purple like robe style tabard appears into the middle of the courtyard and is pursuing, but several hundred feet behind, and is just now kind of like stalking on feet. And you can see it kind of begins to like twist its head and its hands kind of go out, and its eyes kind of shift and look in different directions, and it just begins stalking. It can still follow the darkness, obviously, but where you are directly is going to get lost. I need everyone to go ahead and make stealth checks.
I don't like this guy. He's spooky scary.
Me too, from up on the roof, or no?
I would
22.
say no. 22 is good.
Nice.
I would say
17.
no for you, Mary, yet, because you're not actively trying to be stealthy. You're literally trying to make noise. You're the exact opposite of stealthy. Sorry, was that Boone?
17.
Hondo and Alana?
26.
Oh,
Holy.
Hondo.
13 and 14, I think.
Fuck yeah, Brawley.
7. Okay.
27.
Okay. There is, it's 2 blocks, but you guys can cover that distance relatively quickly. Boone's darkness quickly fades after the first couple of seconds of your sprinting, and you begin just pulling into, again, alleys and just using the natural cover of these semi-abandoned buildings. And you still have yet to really see any other figures here, so at least abandoned for the time being. You sprint through the open doors of one abandoned shop and through into like an open like bay window, just sprinting, jumping out into the alley and turning and running, now curving again in the direction of the church, and just kind of just winding in between the alleys. And Gord, you saw this figure on your collective tail before you got into the alleys, into the building. You have yet to have caught them. They either, by getting into the buildings and using the natural cover, have lost them, or at the very least they are not seeing you yet and you don't see them yet. So best you can tell, you are away. Mary, the final shot rings out and pistol starts clicking, making no further sound. You can see the fading kind of trailing of darkness in the direction of your friends, and several hundred feet away, you just watch this figure kind of just begin floating up into the air. This purple kind of trail off of them. This alien figure just begins flying about 120 feet, just over top of the building, but just holding position, just like hovering in the air, looking in the direction that you know your friends have run, but you can't see them, and it just holds this kind of aerial position as you watch mercenaries begin just like filing out into the courtyard.
Is this building caught anymore?
The building you're on?
Mhm.
Oh, it's burning.
Yeah.
Like, you're safe up here for another minute or so, and you could jump to another building.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, your position is not great.
Yeah.
And you have to now figure out a way to cover this open territory that is now filling with enemies.
Cool.
But none of the focus is seemingly on you, at the very least.
No.
The focus has followed your friends, though their pursuit doesn't seem to be immediate. You still have to figure out what you want to do here.
I'm thinking if there's a way, just giving a quick scan of the buildings to, like, I'll take the long way if I can be sneaky in terms of, like, looping back around the other direction, or, like, if I have to do the full perimeter of the garrison house to get around to the other way, or up in the opposite direction, a big, like, 3 left turn back around towards the gate, like trying to do a big loop instead of just beelining it.
Yeah.
And trying to be as sneaky as possible.
Yeah, you are going to have to use stealth, and it's going to take you several
more time. Yeah, I'll go on the earring and say, I'm going to meet you there. Just get in there, get safe. I'll figure it out. Before I'm out of range, because I'll probably be out of range.
Yeah, there was plenty of time in my description of what they were doing that you could have caught them as they're just running. You could have openly said that over the channel, so no problem.
Okay.
Just go ahead and give me the first stealth check as you begin this process. The crossing the street is going to be the hardest one here.
It's only a 21.
Okay. You know,
great.
The alien figure's focus is elsewhere, but there are now a lot of other eyes. So I'm going to roll with advantage on perception. Lots of people.
Grabbed the cloak off that guy. I don't have all the armor, but I have the cloak. Could I throw that on? The Crimson Coin cloak?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm not going to change the roll for you.
No, it's fine.
But it made shift how they see you. But I'm going to roll with advantage because there's like a ton of guys.
Yeah. Totally fair.
It was a very good roll. You just kind of look over your shoulder with the hood up as you dart across, and you're looking in the other side. You're already on the opposite side. You're on we call it the north side of this street, and you can look and you can see that a small group, like 3 or 4 guys, notice you in your direction. They're looking in your direction. You've been spotted, and you're not sure what that means, but you just dart into the alley.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll come back to that. The rest of you, another stealth check, please.
Got it.
Hondo, Gord, and Alana. And
Wow. These are lucky for me. Okay, 19 plus 1 is 20.
Okay.
15 for me.
Okay.
I rolled a 6.
Okay.
And
But it's still like a 27.
what was it again? Sorry.
Stealth.
Yeah. Stealth is plus 17.
Gord?
Gordon.
What roll, sorry?
A stealth, please.
Stealthy little roll.
Stealthy.
Yeah, a little stealth.
That's a 14.
Okay, not great.
All right.
Hondo's obviously carrying the team here.
What if I use some luck?
Ooh.
You can if you want to.
Yeah.
That's a 16.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
A little bit better.
Every point helps.
That's right.
You guys continue just sprinting forward, trying to be as quiet as you can and trying to just move gracefully through, unfortunately, difficult terrain to be stealthy in and move. There's broken glass. There's constant just like garbage in the streets. You're kicking up just old newspapers, and you're stumbling past, and you do actually kind of stumble past some figure kind of slumped down with like sleeping in the dirt that kind of like rustles up just as you pass, but you pay him no mind and they pay you very little mind as you just continue forward on this breakneck kind of stealth through the alley. After a couple of minutes here, actually even less, it's only 2 blocks, and you're running pretty fast. The alleys here kind of come to a break, and you can see as you kind of come to the edge, you look out, and across the way there is the exterior of this church. This church that's seen better days. You can see the stone wall that surrounds it is little more than a curb now. You could have, but at one time you could imagine this outer wall that would encase a garden of some kind or something like that, but it's been long picked apart. The walkways and courtyard are just littered with trash and dirt and long streaks of ash across the exterior. The building itself you see vandalized with paint on any reachable surface. At a distance, even at this distance, you can see a tall peaked roof with a single towering spire that still stands, though the bell tower of the spire itself has been partially destroyed, and you see no bell atop it any longer, overlooking the scene. But you can see from this angle, it's almost like perfectly positioned to angled in your way, that the entryway no longer has what you would imagine ornate doors of this church, but just like a makeshift kind of 2 big barricades to close it. And any of the other front windows that you would imagine maybe are stained glass or something like that are also boarded up, just covered. But you can see that there is a kind of partial gap in these 2 barricades at the front doors, essentially, that you could make your way through into the greater chamber.
Heck yeah. Like what? Quickly get in there.
Okay. With Boone leading the charge, you guys just begin quickly sprinting across. Make one more stealth check across the board, please. Mary will include you in this as well.
Stealthy stealth. Wow, natural 20. Jesus.
Oh,
Nice.
Except for Kevin.
10 and 17 again.
Oh, no, that's true. You get 10. Okay.
Yeah, he always says
27.
27 minimum.
23 for me.
Okay. Very good.
25.
And Gord, stealth. Um,
11.
11, okay. You guys all are just making a beeline, open territory here again, but it's a relatively short run, and you're just kind of one at a time just dart in, with Boone going first and slipping into, pushing your way through this, it's maybe a foot gap between these two, and you kind of got to push your frame inside. And it is partially lit inside as Hondo follows suit, then Alana and Gord. And you enter into the main hall of this church that you can see extends ahead of you 70 some odd feet, 50 foot roughly to the side. And you can see now on the inside, you can see these tall arched windows that have been boarded up on the outside and some on the inside and barricaded in ways. Some you can still see illustrating interesting scenes before it's shattered and broken. You don't see the full image. The pews are no more than piles of wood. They no longer stand, any of them just ruined wood amongst trash and rubble. The southwestern corner of the building appears to have had some significant damage, and a section of the roof looks like it's collapsed in a great pile of rubble and tile. And as you quickly kind of catch your breath and move your way in here, you can see in that pile of rubble, you can see the bell of the church resting on its side amongst the other rubble. To the eastern side, you can see a staircase ascend and split into a second floor space that is closed off. And there's a spiraling staircase that leads up towards what you imagine the empty tower, just standing off to to the right side, deeper in on the opposite side of where you're entering. Despite the state of ruin, there's still light filtering in through many cracks and holes and illuminating the lone art piece that still remains towards the altar side. Just past, you can see a 20-foot tall arched glass window depicts a hand holding a massive hammer aloft. Balanced atop the hammer, you see the scales of justice. And as Boone kind of did the first one through, you see bannered words and that kind of script on the banner read, "Where darkness shrouds evil's intent, be the beacon of justice that alights it, for one for all." Go ahead and make a religion check.
Me?
Mm-hmm. As the first one in, I think it makes sense.
I shit you not, it's another natural 20.
Excellent. You don't necessarily follow a singular deity, I don't think. But you know about them plenty and just living life and having heard of plenty of the gods in their portfolios. The god of justice is one that you have at least understood. Tyr, Tyr, Lord of Justice. That hammer, the scales of justice, and that kind of intent to be the beacon of light in the darkness and to aid. Gives you an idea that this likely was once a church of Tyr.
I will just kind of call out kind of softly, but I'll be like, we seek the Smiths. We got word from Cerulean and the Cager that you were here. We're friends of the Foundry, and we need your help.
You hear some kind of rustling, just some shifting of paper and cloth. You hear another sound, rustling. By the bell in the pile of rubble, you watch as this figure kind of stands, kind of somewhat hunched, and looks around the edge. You can see a tattered cloak, patchwork, hangs over this red hair that kind of hangs in kind of dirty, unkempt ways across the face, dirtied face of a human or elven. It's hard to make a distinction at a distance. Humanoid, anyways. Looks out in your direction collectively. Says, who are these Smiths you seek? What aid be they to you?
The Smiths be beacons in the darkness. Seems like the ones brave enough to stand up to these fucks of the Crimson Coin.
You hear, but you do not see another voice, not this figure in front of you, but another. It kind of somewhat echoes off the stone. And it says, and that come calling the ones who made such a ruckus over in the garrison, eh?
That was us. But it's only because we're going to destroy the coin.
Make a persuasion check.
I'm not good at this. I'm not Valentine.
I mean, you gotta have decent charisma. You're a paladin.
No. Okay, that one's not bad. But it's a natural one. The luck's got to run out one time.
You watch the red-headed figure kind of stand a little taller and say, did they follow you?
Just this flying fuck tried to.
Gods. Just kind of lets out a whistle. And you watch as kind of dropping out of the shadow from the ceiling, you see this figure kind of land heavy about 20 feet ahead of you. You can see the snout of silver of a dragonborn hang out from a black cloak. It says, "You've compromised us all. You best either know how to fight or know how to hide. Get down here." And he just scurries back, and this red-headed figure follows. Kind of gives you all like a stern look. Get down here. And the two of them kind of roll the bell ever so slightly, and you can see a tunnel is like down in beneath the bell. And they're both kind of holding it. It says, "Go, go, go." You all run down?
Yeah, I'll rush past.
Okay.
I'll like try and hold it for them as they rush in.
They slip in, and you can see the dragonborn. Just kind of the redheaded figure runs down, and the dragonborn, as you're kind of holding it up, says, "I'll keep by. I'll let you know. Stay fucking quiet." And he just kind of runs off, gently placing the bell, and it's surprisingly light. You're not sure why, but it's just kind of surprisingly not a crazy heavy bell. Still heavy, but not crazy heavy. You descend into this kind of pseudo dungeon that has been clearly actively carved out. You can see it's not smooth, it's not well maintained, but it is a short kind of tunnel that you can see a hole in a wall that is a proper wall of brick has been carved out that you have to kind of lift your way into what looks like a cellar. It's not tall, it's not big, but there are a couple of beds. It's a couple of candles are lit, and this red-headed figure rushes over and douses the candles just quickly, just until this area is completely pitch black. He draws something. You hear the sh of like a blade, and for a moment you all kind of tense before it just faintly, just this really, really faint light glows from the blade of a sword. Much, much duller than that of several candles, but enough to give a little bit of light to you all. He says, "We're gonna have to wait this out."
One of our friends is still up there.
Why didn't you say that before we came down here? Sorry, I apologize. Silver, we'll look for them.
Okay.
He says, the eyes of a scout.
If it comes to it, I'll lead them away.
He just nods and looks at Elena, who now your form is kind of shifting back to that of a dwarf. Hondo, yours as well, shifting back to your normal Triton form. Gordon, who is shifting, period. And he just kind of says, "Let's hope it doesn't come to that." As Mary, I need you to make one last stealth check for me as you're making the long way around.
Mm-hmm.
And there are active pursuers. And you are going to have to essentially, at this point, you were spotted and then lost the tail as you made your way through the opposite side, the northern side of the street. Quietly, as quickly as you could, but confidently taking your time, you reach the northern side of the road where you can see the church. As you peer out, first roll me a perception check.
Oh, perception before stealth?
Yeah, sorry, I did. If you already rolled.
I did roll the stealth, but
keep the stealth. Roll perception now.
I did roll very well. Okay, perception minus 2. This is stealth. 17.
Okay.
The stealth was 30. I rolled excellent on the stealth.
Very good. As you just pause, just to quickly look left and right on the main street here, you can see the dispersal of the Crimson Coin who came out. And it's been, we'll call it 10 minutes at this point where you're standing here. the Crimson Coin have been moving in small groups, and you can see one has just kind of passed where you are continuing up the main road here. You don't have eyes on the alien figure, and you don't see any other Crimson Coin here. And you take this moment to quickly dart for the church. And there's a moment where you just kind of like skid out front and just slip in the kind of barricaded front door and just hold and just look back out. It's quiet. You don't see anyone following. You don't hear anyone following. And you just kind of back into the church and look around. It's quiet. You see
I
the same
realize
destroyed interior.
probably half a second too late. Still wearing a crimson coin cloak.
But not the full
Not the
armor.
full getup. No.
It's just that one cloak, and not moving like a Crimson Coin would.
Okay, good.
You're also very stealthed. And thus, as you make your way inside, what do you do?
I'm gonna start Batman Arkham Asylum trying to find, scanning the church, trying to see if there's any...
Looking for clues.
Looking to see if I can see that my friends came through here. Like recent, footsteps. People running in tend to leave a different kind of trail.
Yeah, that is a survival check.
Okay. Not very good. Well, I guess, it's better than 10, so it's okay. But not excellent. It's only a 14.
It's not terrible. You know the signs to look for. You know that this should have happened, and it would have been right here. It also helps that there is a lot of dirt and dust to be disturbed. And there's you'd be no good at tracking one individual group, one person, but you can see recent tracks of several footsteps have traveled through here, and you can follow it through to the heart of this church, and they all seem to lead towards this bell and this rubble. You kind of get over to look at it. You can see there are handprints in the dust of the bell itself, and you can see several sets of hands have kind of been all across it. As you hear behind you this kind of shifting of rock, you quickly turn on your heels to see this kind of hunched figure, this silver snout kind of sticking out, this head kind of turned a little bit, black cloak, well maintained, covering every sign of body beneath, hunched heavily. So, not many can make it in without me seeing or hearing them long before they do.
Not many get to walk right up behind me before I notice them.
Side taps the tip of his snout, and there's this kind of like metallic ting to it. He says, "Your friends have been here. I assume you're with them and not with the others."
Oh, no, not with the others. Hope they didn't give you too much trouble.
Yes. Kind of looks you up and down. What trouble would you cause there to cause this much ruckus?
Sorry, what trouble did you cause there? At least one dead coin, building on fire, getting into the garrison house to get a look around. Fortunately, I don't know more than that because I haven't got to chat with them yet.
So you didn't go in. Surprising. You being, might I say, quite skilled.
There were other matters to attend to.
Well, under the bell. I'll keep an eye. And he kind of just slips back into the shadow, and you hear as he kind of clambers up a wall.
That guy's cool. Yeah, I'll kind of just see if I can lean into the bell and see which way it moves.
Yeah, you can just feel there's a natural kind of roll to it, and it makes a bit of a sound, but you can see there is a carved kind of path beneath. It's a little difficult to do solo, but you're skilled enough, and you make your way down into this cellar. You all hear that shifting sound. The figure with you, who's been just kind of quietly waiting and just like cross-legged before you all, rises and gets close to the entry with the blade doused, like it instantly goes dark. Mary, you can see that light for a second before darkness. And as you get close, are you trying to be stealthy or just making your way in?
No, I'm probably trying to be stealthy.
Okay, go ahead.
I don't know what I'm getting. I don't know what I'm getting into quite yet, and I want to get eyes on the situation before I walk in. It's not great. 22.
Okay. You get like 3/4 of the way through the kind of hole. You can feel there's like a hole carved in a wall as you watch this blade kind of light, not with flame, but with kind of a natural goldenish light. And this half-elven figure with this kind of red hair that kind of swept over his face, kind of startled, pulls back. He looks to Boone and the rest.
She's with us.
Is it the last of your friends?
1, 2, 3. Yeah.
Oh, good. Take a seat. I have questions.
Okay.
Silver will ensure that if anyone's coming in, will be known. But for now, we're safe.
Didn't catch your name.
You can call me Red.
Oh, that's easy.
Kind of just sweeps the hair out of his face. Pulls his hood back and lets the blade just kind of brighten up ever so slightly, giving a better look. And you can see this as the hood falls back and he kind of stands his full height, his head just at the top. It's not particularly tall in here, and he's a little under 6 feet tall. So for those of you taller, it's cramped. But he is nonetheless a fit half-elven figure. You can see the half kind of marked ears of this red unkept hair that he now sweeps over, and is kind of like wavy and dirty, but falls away and is shorn on the sides. Clean shaven, pointed features, the elven features kind of coming through. You can see he wears chainmail beneath the cloak. It's dirty, but you don't hear this kind of squeak of ill maintenance. It's been maintained, but is grimy, a little dirty. The blade, though, looks immaculate. Keeps the blade out, not threateningly, but just as a point of light. Looks you all over and says, as I said, my name's Red. You can call me Red. I'd like to know your names and why you're looking for the Smiths.
My name's Boone. That's Brawley. That guy's Mr. Blue. The new one's Mary. And the quiet one's Gord.
Mr. Blue have a first name?
When he wants to.
He looks to you, Hondo.
Hondo, what trouble did you get into in there?
Some like alien looking guy. The lieutenant, I think he's called. That guy, I think he could control minds because he was after me. I think he heard our call.
Sir, we meant to find you because we are intent on taking the coin down.
It's a lofty goal.
We're a lofty group.
You're 5.
We have another guy, but he died No, he's back.
Don't. Okay. You were still 5, but now
Yeah.
you're 5.5.
That's right. He's smaller. It's like 5.25.
Not quite about numbers here.
Well, I'm going to argue that in a second. But if you're looking to bring down the coin, some are friends. It stands to be my goal as well.
You got a cough down here?
Yeah, it's dusty down here.
Yeah, it's dusty.
I don't know why I stay down here.
This guy got some poor kid in daycare who keeps getting him sick.
Red does? Red's got a little kid in daycare.
The alien, the lieutenant,
Mm.
he can get in your head. You be careful around that. You see them, you steer clear. At the very least, start thinking not what you intend to do. Think like them.
That's a good tip.
Is he the only one like that? Or they the only one like that?
There's a couple of them. Same type of figure. They got all sorts of characters over there. More importantly, you want to bring down the coin. I ain't never seen you. I've been doing this a while. I heard rumor of a group putting up a fight. Numbers match. Why are you doing this?
For me, the general took something from me, and he continues taking from other people. And that don't sit right with me. And I know it's hard to believe, but it doesn't sit right with the lady either. And we know that because we were able to talk to her.
You see like a shift of surprise. But he doesn't, discount what you say. Just surprised. I had my own audience a long time ago now. Did you believe you could trust what she said?
I mean, for me, everybody's got their own agenda. But sometimes when agendas line up, it can work out. So I do trust that she doesn't like what the general's doing, that she thinks there's an unbalance that needs to be corrected.
I'll be honest, I don't do this for her. This may be her city. But she's just as much at fault for letting it become this. She had as much control as we're told she does. The Mercy Killers, they do a better job. Her puppets, those Devas, they do more than float around and shift stone. People like the General wouldn't exist.
I heard tonight that from the coin we encountered, the Mercy Killers might be kind of in with the coin. They having a bit of an arrangement.
It's been a long time coming. That corruption is the same as any faction. They say they stand for justice, supposed to stand for the lady. That's how it started. But enough coin comes your way, you start looking the other way. A little bit more coin, some other perks, favor here and there. Suddenly you stop looking at all.
Well, we're still looking.
Sounds like the city needs a reset. Maybe that's her goal here.
Reset would be, well, anything would be better. So you went in, you look, see you, Hondo.
Yeah,
What are you trying to do?
Alone. Oh, God knows. What were you trying to do in there, Hondo?
Well, I was trying to find out more info about this place. I did consider blowing it up.
Sure.
But mainly I was just trying to, get some info on it. Where do they keep the valuables? Do they keep valuables? How does it work? That kind of thing.
Well, it was bold to go in. We've been doing the same thing for some time. We haven't, I don't know if I want to say we haven't the skill, or the willpower, but we haven't done that yet. We've had eyes on for a long time.
Boone's been in before too. Different circumstances.
Oh,
It's my will.
not a former member or nothing.
No. Just got on their wrong side, so they took a part of me.
We got a couple like that. Yeah.
What do you know about thanks. What do you know about what they're doing underground?
There's been construction about 6 months maybe back. I got notes I'd have to look at, but 6 months back we saw this kind of bluish smoke coming up from the barracks. And about 6 months-ish before that, maybe 3 months, they had construction crews coming in and out. They were doing some changing. Something beneath the barracks, or within the barracks at the very least. There's a big 2-story building in the northwestern corner. Barracks and mess hall, and now something else. General visits there pretty frequent. He doesn't leave the garrison house for much. But there he goes. I don't want to say nightly, but multiple times a week. That's unusual.
You know about Kellic, the missing dwarf?
I've seen the papers, seen the ads, the widow.
We got some good recon that General might have trapped him down there to work on some secret weapon, secret project to take control of the city and maybe kill the lady.
That's a big accusation. What's this Kellic do?
Big. He's a smith.
Kellic used to work at the foundry, works with Arcurite. That's why they seem to be getting so much of it. They're like
And that we've
putting
seen.
plates on something.
We've seen them rolling up with lots over the last while. You think that might be what that smoke is?
Quick question, Kyle.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned to Hondo, I think, that the barracks that looked like it could have been an old bank?
Nope. The manor house.
Like where a dragon a long time ago might have potentially run a bank? Beneath the Miser Drake's Rest?
The Miser Drake's Rest.
Okay.
We what time of day is it right now? As we huddled into the church.
Afternoon.
You guys are still in the cellar, so there's no good sight lines outside. But when you were outside 15 minutes ago, you guys walked for a number of hours. It's mid to late afternoon. No, it's like 12:30, 1 o'clock.
We should start heading back sooner than later. But Red, we're gonna start some trouble. We're starting a bit of a revolution of sorts. But here in the Hive is where we could use the most help as we try and infiltrate that garrison house. Is there any way you could help us? Ways in, places to hide.
What if between what Boone you've seen, what Hondo saw, and maybe what Red here knows, draw something up, see if we can get the best overhead view that we can imagine. Got all three minds that know this place the best of who we're actually gonna be able to fucking talk to. Now seems like the time.
We haven't been inside proper.
But you've seen the outside a hell of a lot more than any of us have.
We've seen the outside. We got an idea. We have plenty of intel on day-to-day operations. Know a little bit about the key figures. We've been doing this a long time, and it's been a long time coming that we take some proper action. You're not just a bunch of fucking idiots running in to get your heads chopped off. We can talk. Time for a fight. Maybe now.
It is.
We appreciate you've been doing this for a long time, that this is work up for you, and I promise you this isn't just us running in thinking we can be big goddamn heroes taking all this shit. This isn't small for us. And I don't mean to stamp out anyone else's good work here. Just want to make sure we know we're doing this for a lot of reasons. Pride isn't really one of them.
That's enough for me. I can talk to Silver and Snow. The three of us are more or less I don't want to say heads, but founding members anyways of whatever this resistance is. What's the plan?
Well, we're going to hit a bunch of their places tonight to make them hurt, kind of spread out their focus. And then
I think we're hitting one place tonight, and the rest are getting hit.
That's right.
Tomorrow.
I'm confused. One place we're going to hit tonight, and then tomorrow there's going to be 2 hits that the resistance is doing. And while that goes down, we're going to sneak in, kill the general, probably try and destroy this machine, and get out.
Okay.
Yeah, saw the face. There's method, not just running and swinging. We did that already, and it didn't go well.
And you don't have to worry about that part. That part's on us. It's just the getting us in there and giving us a chance is what we need.
In truth, the only way in is that gate. Unless you got something real big. We don't got.
We can, but yeah.
I mean, if that's something you got, that'll give you another way in. Something that's less of a funnel, but there's really only one way in, one way out. They got a lot of people in there.
I think that's part of the plan, is to help draw them out.
Yeah, any way you could help draw them out.
We got maybe a little more than a dozen of us. It's not much. We wouldn't last long in a fight. We're happy to fight if it's a worthwhile cause.
Good cause a fight or start a fight.
Even guerrilla warfare tactics, you don't have to put up the full fight, but just pick at them.
A bunch here or there, you know?
I mean, we can draw them out. At least try. If you're saying you've got hits, that'll draw some. Would you rather they follow that up, or do we want to draw some and then hit them here? It seems counterintuitive.
Well, given today's shenanigans, I have a feeling they're going to be locked up a little tighter there for tomorrow. We are hoping that, to be honest, we don't actually know the distances of these places, do we?
The distances.
They're being hit.
No. You have no idea where the others are. You don't even know where the one you're hitting tonight is.
No, we still got to figure that out. Although I got the impression that the anarchists do know.
Oh yeah, Horace is going to lead you there, and the anarchists know where the other ones are. They're the ones who told you what you should hit.
Yeah. So it looks like the victor's crown. There's an alchemist.
Yeah.
Both here in the Hive. I don't know distance wise, but those are at least the targets.
The alchemist is a piece of work. She's pure.
What if we met up with you guys in sneeze? Apology.
It's a dust. I can't help it.
It's dusty down here. It's the rotten wood. What if we met up with you guys here in 2 nights, tomorrow night?
We'll be here. We're always here. Are we meeting up with the intent of going for a fight or planning?
I think either the intent to go in with a fight or the intent to help our breakout after we get what we need.
Okay.
We need to figure out our exact plan to our group. Our exact plan first before we can,
figure out where you could help pinch hit for us.
But I also don't want to leave them in the fucking dark.
No, I'm going to have to pitch this to my group. We want to make a difference. We want to change. And we are willing to fight for that change. But I'm going to have a hard time telling them a bunch of people came in here saying they're going to kill the general tomorrow. You want to go?
We'll tell them to meet us 1 hour before day changes to night, right here. And we'll let them know the plan. Because when night falls, that's the signal to start the uprising in the city. So we can meet back here. We can tell them our plan. Believe me, this plan is gonna blow your mind. It's gonna be so well thought out and no room for error in how it works. And yeah, it's very thorough. And then we'll free the city.
Just kind of looks up for a second. I have a lot of faith in this city, despite its lack of return to its people. If you can provide anything that would return it to what it once was, I'll do whatever you say. We've been here a long time, just looking, waiting. Some kind of sign, something we could do. Hopefully you're it.
We are.
Does the term miser Drake's rest mean anything to you?
Miser Drake, Thusirix, was a dragon who once was the owner of them, but is now the garrison house. It wasn't the garrison house then. When the general came, he claimed this space. He killed the dragon for it. Pretty confident he keeps that dragon as a trophy. What's left of it. I'd say its rest is wherever that is.
Which one of these? I'm going to take out from probably the bag of holding. I imagine there's got to be loose paper and shit in there somewhere. This is Val's bag of holding.
Valentine's paper.
Yeah. I'm going to just sketch out a square and from my slight aerial view, try to like draw at least the big buildings I could see, and just try to like chat with him and say, I mean, dragons are fucking big. Even the skeleton takes up a lot of space. Which of these buildings would be big enough?
Well, both the garrison house proper and the barracks would be big enough, but the barracks has got a lot of guys living in it. Probably not somewhere they're keeping a dragon. I'd like to think, the way we see it, General keeps him as a trophy. General lives in the garrison house. So at least maybe it's just the skull. Maybe it's, I don't know. Like I said, we haven't had eyes on it properly, but
I think it's underground. I think it's what they're putting the accurate on. It's going to be some sort of scary metal dragon death monster.
I don't like hearing that, I'll be honest.
Something else. Maybe it's something you guys can accomplish. Maybe it's something we need to look into. Getting that Kellic out of there, he has the most information about this.
Oh, but we can't
Whatever
send
the fuck
these
this
poor
is.
fellas in to do that. I think we gotta do that.
I mean, if the coin are drawn out, at least most of them, we were able to all slip in. I'm not particularly stealthy. Silver's our scout. He's pretty stealthy. We got a couple other members who are stealthy, but no one quite like Silver. If you need someone to go in, you really only got the one guy.
All right.
Trying to think of.
He needs people to fight.
Yeah.
We got a couple extra hands.
Hoping to try to get him out of there ahead of time.
Ooh, I don't
partially
think so.
Partially because he'll have information about what the fuck that thing is.
I mean, the general was right there, like working him to death. I think he's like under lock and key. Honda went in to get like a snack at their breakfast bar and almost got his brain wiped. So
well, you're saying
I feel like
he's a smith who works with. You're saying they work with Arcurite?
Yeah.
Like, if there's a smith, we saw the blue smoke. The foundry guys told us. We asked them what that is. That's what they said it is. They got to be under the barracks.
Yep. That's
at least you know where. At least you know where to look.
Under the barracks. Yep. Well, listen, Red. We'll be back here tomorrow, 1 hour before the day breaks. We have an appointment with that man's potential son. It's up in the air. But we can't be late for it because he's very unpredictable.
All right. Well, one hour before sundown tomorrow. Let's see how it goes.
Thank you for saving our ass today.
No worries. Silver hasn't made a peep yet, so let's just wait on his signal.
Okay.
You'd be on your way.
Did you know that Brawley knows a magic trick? She could show you it to pass the time.
I like a magic trick.
Oh,
Show
it's a
him the
really
thing.
good one. It's a
Yeah.
really good one. You ready?
Oh, it's so spooky.
Right?
It's
I
pretty
just
good.
learned it.
It's a smooth transition.
And you can add
Oh
to
my
it,
God.
too. Yeah, I know, right?
It's like it's still alive.
Yeah.
I know this is, in jest, but I really hope you have something better planned for tomorrow.
Oh yeah, no, that's well, I'm sure we'll come up with something.
What
We
do
will.
you know?
We will come up with something.
What do you know about this, while we're waiting? About this, alchemist?
Like I say, she's a piece of work. The weaponry they use, she augments it, poisons, and they got a deal. She's always delivering stuff to them. Elixirs and toxins. And I'm sure she's had a hand in whatever it is the General's been working on because she's been here a lot lately.
Where does she come from?
She's here in the Hive.
How far?
Maybe a half hour. Maybe not even that much.
Well, she's gonna get a visit tomorrow.
We'll really send for her. I just hope she doesn't see him coming.
The one guy I don't think she will.
Okay.
I'm just hoping there's enough in that workshop of hers to make a big fucking mess if things start getting lit up.
It will. There is a gentle, just kind of like knock on the bell. It kind of rings down. Red just kind of nods and says, "Coast is clear." Well, leads you up. They move the bell. Silver's kind of hunched, helping Red with the bell. Well, you certainly got their attention. They've been coming up and down the main road for a little while here. I saw our lieutenant friend just kind of hanging over the sky. Just listening. Didn't seem to find purchase, though. They're back in their base now, at least as far as I could tell. I might give it a little extra time before you leave, perhaps just to be safe. And I probably wouldn't go that way.
Okay. Yeah, we can wait a little bit, but we really appreciate you taking us in here.
Hey. Everybody needs a place to hide now and again. So, he looks to Red and says, "What do they want?" Red says, "Time to make a move." They're the ones say they're going to kill the general. Silver just kind of chuckles and then just, "Well, are we helping?" And Red just kind of gives a little shrug. And Silver just kind of looks at you all and says, "Well, we all gotta die someday, I suppose." Kind of looks up at the stained glass window, symbols of tear. For one, for all. I'm gonna drink, I think, tonight.
No, you should. Yeah, you should for
that's
sure.
a good idea, I think. I've been saving it. No point in saving it now.
No.
Oh, I gotta sharpen my knives.
Yeah, we'll do that too.
As you
I love
guys
this guy.
wait out a little longer and then begin to make your way out into Sigil once more, on your rendezvous to the stash house wherever it may be. We'll find out next time.
On Horace. I'm through Horace.
And I don't know what's going to happen there, but I'm sure it's going to be fun.
Just gonna do a quick little B&E and the stash house.
Little
And then get
beanie,
ready, and then do a big plan.
blow it up.
Yeah. Kev, I would admire your restraint to not explode that entire place. I appreciate that.
It was so close.
I know.
Powder was there.
What? You know it's not
It's
going
still
anywhere.
there. The powder's
It's
still
not going
there.
anywhere.
I'm not doing it.
Thanks for tuning in. Join us next time as the Wildcards and Horace journey to Darkwood Manor, stash house of the Crimson Coin, and begin to uncover the mysteries it holds. There'll be a new episode every Tuesday, so stay tuned. But until then, keep exploring.